We're back with more Missing Stars. Not by popular demand, but because I just wanted to do this game.
As I was saying before, this is the reason why Face Connect is the best agency for VTubers.
Haha, hashtag irrelevant. That'll do for today. Make sure to review the notes on the board, and we'll have a short quiz on them tomorrow. Au revoir, baguette. Sternness on his face, unfaltering, the teacher slides a redoubtable pile of books back into his bag, gives us a cursory parting wave, and marches out of the room to take his break. He's going on his obligatory French 3-hour-long smoke/baguette break. I lean back into my seat and stretch, trying to slough off the heavy blanket of boredom that has begun to fog up my consciousness. My notebook is spotless, save for a bunch of flowers I must have doodled at some point. If there was anything I cared about in the lesson, the end-of-class bell must have thoroughly washed it away already. Well, I mean, there really is not much to be learned from French philosophy. Nothing useful, anyway. French isn't my favorite subject. I know a fair bit from back home. Mom and Dad were fluent speakers, but while I can't really say I'm awful at it, it's not something I relish studying. Is it too early for me to start making jokes about the Maginot Line, or is...
I mean, if you want, I don't think it's really...
I'm just saying.
I don't think it's really pertinent.
I'm just saying. The main character is, German speaker. I'm just saying. The Germans only traveled to France via one direction. And I'm just saying, the second time it happened, the French kind of buried their head in the sand on the subject matter and just let it happen.
I was going to say, they only go through one direction. You mean through the Low Countries like they always do?
Yeah, literally always do. The teacher's monotonous droning didn't instill any burning passion to pay any heed either. How someone manages to make learning the language of love such a dreary affair, I'll never know. You know what? I'm just going to say this. All you Latinate languages out there like, we are the language of love, baguette. Yeah, no, you're not. The language of love would not be so coarse as to belong to the Latin. I'm sorry.
It's because French is deliberately has a very constructed, it's a very artificial language. All languages are artificial, but there actually are cultural institutions and governmental institutions in order to ascertain whether or not something is quote-unquote officially French or not.
By adding a bunch of unnecessary vowels.
I have no idea what goes into it. That's the reason why it's difficult to actually translate between English and French. Because English is like, oh, we'll just steal words and we won't even agree on pronunciation or even spelling a lot of times. So, try to explain to me, or try to explain to anyone really, how the English can, add where the F in lieutenant is, but they put one there when they pronounced lieutenant.
That is true.
Or aluminium, where they add a bunch of extra vowels to aluminum.
I hope everyone knows that we are just funning, but I am saying the whole language of love thing is so absolutely, utterly pretentious.
Well, I'll say this. Our version of English is actually the older version of English. They're the ones who changed.
That's true.
So if anything, they need to remember where they came from.
Funny enough, it was actually Europe that gave us the imperial system, and then they changed the metric. And they're like, how do you use the imperial system? Because that's what you gave us. That's literally what we've been using. That's normal for us. You're the ones who changed.
Yep. And honestly, they're like, the entire thing, like, how can you use, how can you use Fahrenheit? What's a Fahrenheit? It's like, oh, you mean I want to say he was Polish-Lithuanian. He was a scientist, and he was, his family was from Germany. Germany didn't even exist at that point.
Right.
This all came from you guys. That you're just being willfully, what's the word? Willfully ignorant?
Something like that. Also, is your mic obstructed by something? You're coming in a little tinny. That could just be Discord, but I just wanted to check real quick.
No, it's right next to my face.
Huh. So it's probably Discord. All right, whatever. I will...
Beep, boop. I have been, you're right, you got me. I have been replaced by a robot.
Oh,
I am the true Ditaku ganger.
The Ditaku ganger. Great.
Beep, beep.
All right, enough bagging on Europe. It's all in the spirit of fun. It's all in the spirit of fun. I hope you guys know we're just fun in here. We don't actually hate anyone. Y'all are kind of pretentious, but hey, so are we, so it balances out in the end, so it's whatever. We're just having fun here. No one go in the comments and get all butt mad. Or I know you won't have watched past like the 2-minute mark if you do.
I'm just saying, we brag on ourselves probably more than that, so...
Yeah, there's also that. Most of my classmates file immediately out of the classroom, like inmates fresh released from their scholastic prison, their collective chatter filling the air with garbled mess of sounds. I think I see a few of them throw cautious glances back at me, their faces furrowed, like they're actually considering whether to approach me or not. They seem to like to go for not. They might have decided that I'm not worth the trouble. Fair enough, it's not as if I would know how to respond to them anyway. I decided to finally follow suit, collecting all my things and heading out of the room. I should probably get some food, at least if the slight rumble in my gut is any indication. Now we can have another existential conversation about sandwiches. As I turn into a corner, my eye catches a familiar sight. Hey, it's the girl from my math class, sitting on a bench in the corridor. Her eyes are closed, which made me think she was sleeping, until I figure out that she's actually, albeit subtly, bobbing her head to something. Approaching, I finally notice the thin black cord that falls down from her ears. Now that I've been reminded of her existence, I find myself in the same internal argument I had this morning. Should I continue my attempts at talking to her, or to cut my losses while I'm ahead? My efforts to get her to speak back in math class weren't very fruitful, to say the least. Perhaps that Katya was right. You can't reasonably expect to approach every new person the same way. She finally opens her eyes and finds me standing a short distance from her, transfixed as I'm debating myself for a course of action. Okay, I'm kind of laughing here because this actually happened to me in real life in a similar but somewhat different situation. See, back in my college days, I was every bit the weird, awkward autismo that I am today, just I didn't have a word for it. And there was this girl in a math class, funny enough, that I had a thing for. And I was like, how do I approach this situation? Well, one day the professor gives us a test, and he's like, hey, the test is all I have planned today. When you're finished with the test, just leave. You're good. So, I finish first, enter the hallway, and I'm like, well, crap, I wanted to talk to that girl, and now, like, I left way before her. So as I'm sitting there, contemplating maybe 2 or 3 minutes, mind you, I'm just like, do I stay? Do I just leave and try again later? And as I'm about to come to something resembling a decision, she exits the classroom and sees me standing there as awkwardly as humanly possible. So, immediately, I have freaked her out, and she goes deer in the headlights mode, and is just like, stop talking to me. Well, she didn't say that, but she was very clearly signaling, you're weird and creepy, I don't want to talk to you. And I was like, well, I just shot that, myself in the foot, and then I decided to shoot the other foot just for good measure. So then, make a long story short, the next math class, I was just like, I'm just going to stay out of her way. I'll let her leave first. I will take my sweet time packing my stuff away. And as I'm kind of deliberately fumbling by putting my glasses away into their little container, I notice her just kind of standing there out of the corner of my eye. And when I get up, she addresses me, and she's like, oh, would you like to get coffee? I was like, yes? Is this a trick question? As we're sitting there talking, I was like, I'm kind of sorry about coming off as weird before. And she's like, oh yeah, you were super weird, and you freaked me out. And my mom was like, he was probably just awkward, and you should give him a chance. And she's like, so the real reason you got a date was because of my mom. And I was like, brilliant. I'm sorry for the tangent. That was just kind of a cute story.
Oh, it is cute. And I'm kind of wondering if I knew this person now.
No, you had already moved to Pudberg by then. So that would have happened before I left where I grew up and returned to Sneckburg. So you probably wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to, I don't think. She finally opens her eyes and finds me standing a short distance, transfixed as if debating myself. Are you feeling okay? She doesn't answer, of course, instead just clutches her sleeves and shifts on her feet. Christ, think of something, Eric. Start off with something inoffensive, something to put her at ease. Try to strike a common ground. Ask her about the weather? Hell no, that's the most cliched thing I can spout. I've already asked her about music, but even that didn't do wonders for establishing a connection between us. Not that I'd know where to take the discussion on that had it continued, seeing as I'm virtually musically illiterate. Getting more and more anxious by the second, she's now nervously crumpling in her hands what I recognize to be an empty vending machine sandwich wrapper. Our gazes meet for a moment, and spurred on by a feeling of urgency, I blurt out the first thing that comes to my mind. What kind of sandwiches do you like? The girl's body stiffens as if flash frozen, and the whole universe screeches to a grinding halt as I realize what just tumbled out of my stupid mouth. That sounded much better in my head.
You know, I hate this. I hate to say this, but this is honestly one of those situations in life where if I was asked this question, it would be one of those things where I'd have to stand, stroke my chin, and just be like, this is one of the interesting question you pose because it not only reveals your person's innermost desires, but also their deepest fears.
It depends by what you mean by sandwiches, man. Are hot dogs in the taco family or not?
All right, Professor. More hot dogs, tacos.
Okay, if you're defining food not by its place or recipes of origin, if you're defining them purely by their geometry, yes, hot dogs and tacos are in the same family. But if you're defining them by their contents or their origin, then no, they wouldn't be related. But by the same measure, you could make the same argument that Pop-Tarts fall into the ravioli family.
I mean, that's true. So, all right. The pupil's got to know, Professor. What's your favorite sandwich?
My favorite sandwich. I kind of have an answer, and at the same time, it's kind of nebulous. Every time I go to Subway, my go-to Subway sub is the bacon chicken ranch. That is good eating. I love it. Now, is that like my favorite sandwich universally across the board? Something like that. Chicken, cheese, and bacon are pretty hard to mess up. So, would that be my absolute favorite? Yeah, you know what? I think it's safe to say. Yeah, you know what? Let's chicken bacon ranch is a pretty darn good sandwich. I think I'd stand by that answer.
Nice.
What about you, Ditaku? Gun to your head now. What is your favorite sandwich?
Oh man, I honestly think I probably would be much like Hal Jordan. I'm a boyga man.
Boygas are excellent, and I would make no argument.
Much like when I lived down in Sneckburg, the professor and I, whenever I went to a new restaurant, I would make the effort because basically every restaurant in Sneckburg is a barbecue place to see what their burger was like.
Right.
Some were really good. Some of them are not so good, but it's okay.
That's fair. Hamburgers are an excellent part of life. The intention was to pull off something like what Katya did during lunch, but all this does is make crystal clear to me that with handling social encounters, she's ahead by kilometers. No, light years. A little color in the girl's face drains out completely, biting so hard on her lip she could tear it right off. She looks like she'd sooner jump off a balcony than reciprocate my attempt at conversation. She blinks once, twice, as if she can't believe someone just up and asked such a thing. Truth be told, I didn't expect I'd just up and ask such a thing. I scrambled to salvage my dignity. Sorry, just that's a vending machine sandwich, isn't it? I just thought. The sentence dissolves into nothingness, unfinished. Her body's tense and rigid like a wooden mannequin, quivering ever so slightly, like I'm the villain in some gory slasher flick, and she's my latest unfortunate victim cornered at the end of a dark alley. A humiliating moment of silence trickles by until she lowers her head, a fringe of dark brown hair curtaining her eyes. She stands up, turning her back on me. Feeling utterly defeated, all I could do is watch as she awkwardly shuffles down the hall, her gait even stiffer than earlier, almost as if her legs had just magically turned to bricks. I mentally slapped myself. What was I thinking? Eric, you were never this socially inept. What could I have said then? What should I have said? I don't want to feel alone and excluded in this school, but that's very difficult to do when I don't have the flimsiest grasp on how I should handle the people here. I'm an astronaut who just stumbled into a colony of Martian people, flailing around like an idiot in low gravity just to convey to them I've come in peace. Just thinking that leaves me a bitter aftertaste. God, I must sound so condescending right now. Deep breaths. See anxiety. My anxiety is getting the better of me once again. Or you secretly just really, really, really want to be John Carter of Mars. Huh? I turn to the source of the sound, and sure enough, there it is. Fran, the guy from the first period, sitting behind me, clutching at his stomach and mouth, his body quivering so convulsively I thought he was having a seizure. He's on the verge of falling over, trying to contain his giggling, before at last giving in and exploding into a laughing fit so loud, I swear it shook the whole building. What the actual hell was that about? I swear, it's got to be the worst pickup line I've ever heard in my life. Knock it off. He doesn't, at least, not for a while. I think he laughed for a solid minute before even showing any intention of calming down. I was pretty sure he was the guy earlier, but now looking at them, I'm not quite so sure anymore. Their voice was too high-pitched to be identifiably masculine, but it also has a husky, raspy quality that wasn't quite feminine, either. They have a tall, spindly build, facial features that tread precarious on the line between mild and sharp. You can't tell what you're supposed to call them, pretty or handsome. They're also wearing a female student's jacket and cravat that's coupled with long black trousers. Well there, darling, no need to get so serious. Life's too short to go on living like that. Actually, could just be a Loy roll, you never know. That's an Amazing Quest reference, everyone.
No one's gonna get that.
Man, oh man, Christ on a bike, I needed that laugh. Glad to have served, then. Come on, don't be like that. Geez, so glum. I have to give points to you, though. A lot of people give up on talking to her after the first try. She's a very skittish person. You don't say. So, her shy girl's your type? The unexpected question hits like a piano drop from the Roche Tower, hitting a run-down Pinto on the streets of Baselstadt on a sultry Sunday morning. That is such a specific set of circumstances. Did that actually happen or something? Like, I don't even know what to make of that sentence. Ditaku, I need you to Google something really specific for me.
Okay.
Like, did a piano drop from the Roche Tower and hit a Pinto? I don't know what to make of this.
Let me see.
It's one of those things where I question myself, because I remember seeing a meme about there was this flood of molasses and people actually dying, and I was like, wait, is that a real thing? And then I looked up, and yes, it's absolutely a real thing that actually happened, and people actually died. Like, it was kind of horrific, actually.
Alright, so what Bing is telling me, because I am a weirdo that uses Bing, because honestly, its advice, the AI advice is way better than whatever Google gives you. For what it's worth. So, you should be happy to know that this is not a reference to real life.
Okay, so he's making up a very exaggerated set of circumstances.
Not quite.
Uh-oh.
This is actually a reference to one of the Final Destination sequels, where such a thing happens.
Okay. A little bit of a deep cut. I think I only saw the first two of those films.
Yeah.
They didn't really captivate me, because honestly, if you want a movie series that makes death look utterly incompetent when personified, look no further. But, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, not for nothing. I I will freely admit, I don't really watch slasher films. Just scary guy that's going to get you is like probably the least interesting, horror monster.
Yeah,
So
I get it. I'll be honest though, ever since I saw it, I hesitate to ever drive behind trucks with great big huge wooden logs on them. Gives me pause for thought.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Just common sense.
Yeah. My face burns as hot as a resultant fire. What? I try to stammer out the answer to shut them up, but my confusion and embarrassment when making their features curl into a thin and mischievous leer. I can see it in your eyes, clear as day, as open as a book. I've had years of training reading people's faces, you know? Well, you were reading wrong. I was just trying to start a conversation. Come on, what the hell's wrong with you? The frustration leaks into my voice, causing the words to come off more harshly than intended. They fall dead silent, and the room temperature plunges into a nosedive. Bubbly smile drains out of their face, darkening into a cold, horrified stare that sends a twinge of panic up my spine. Should I not have said that? I should not have said that. Crap. Look, I didn't mean to. Before I can finish my sentence, they slap me on the shoulder and burst into hyena-esque laughter again. Gotcha! I groan. This isn't this quite the life I've gotten myself into? That was my acting. Thespian miracle worthy of Hollywood, huh? Huh? My face curdles into a grimace. I didn't find it nearly as amusing as they did. I decided against rewarding them with response. That said, should I really have been even be engaging this person to begin with? The impish light in their eyes sends various warning signs in my head blaring at full volume. I turn away from them and begin heading back down the hallway without further comment. I can think of a few better ways to spend my afternoon than being mocked by a stranger. Hey, man. Okay, I get it. No need to get all cranky now. I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound like a total jerk, all right? Just a little bit of a jerk. Besides, you're too stuffy. You want to grow up to be like that French teacher dude or something? Sometimes you have to forgive a gentleman her amusements. What? They snap their fingers and continue on as if the topic wasn't up for discussion in the first place. They send a hand to me. So, I know you've been introduced earlier, but I'm Fran Dragovic, at your service. I'm more of a roast beef sandwich kind of person, but ham and beetroot will do the trick too. Is that the type you usually fall for? You eat beet willingly? I'm sorry, we cannot be friends. That stuff is not fit for human consumption.
You heard it here, folks.
If you eat beets, we cannot be friends. I'm sorry. Beets are... You have to be like a pod person or something to eat beets. It's not, I don't make the rules, I just enforce them.
You heard it here, folks.
They'll never let you live this down, will they? I could just take a screenshot of this and be like, every interaction with the Tomo Bros, .png. I'm Eric, but...
What are you talking about?
I'm Eric, but you know that already, right? Of course. Not every day we get a new face around here, and a pretty one at that. Have you got any ideas what you're going to eat dinner? Where you're going to eat dinner, Eric? I'm starving here. Cafeteria, fancy-ass resto outside campus, cook your own? Man, wish I could cook my own food. School grub is very much hit or miss here. I raise my finger to answer, but retract it when I find I have no clue whatsoever. Did they just call me pretty? As for the topic of dinner, that's actually a good question. Where indeed? I know for a fact I can't possibly live my life here subsisting on vending machine sandwiches. I don't know. I see, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. You've got to come with me. Simpering like a used car salesman who's just conned someone into a shady deal, Fran yanks me forward, pulling me after them with such force that I would have tripped on my numb leg had they not caught me by their other arm. Sorry, love. You okay? Yes, it's all right. It's nothing. Don't mind it. Fran raises an eyebrow, but they loosen their hold on me and decide against inquiring further with a nonchalant shrug. Right, after me then. Where to? Fran simply begins humming a tune as they waltz down the hallway with me in tow. I try to object, but they flagrantly refuse to hear me out. I think of running off, but I figure I'd rather spare myself from another embarrassment. It's not like I can get very far away at any speed they can't beat. Needless to say, I have a bad feeling about this. So voila! Welcome to our destination. I scratched my head and sigh. All throughout the 5-minute walk, my mind was running with possibilities about all the places they could have led me, and absolutely none of them were good. Even provided that I was too anxious to put a foot inside the place earlier today, I guess it's still leagues better than what I had in mind. It's the cafeteria, because of course it would be. Ha! What gave it away, Monsieur Porroy? The big sign that says St. Dimphnis Cafeteria. You were thinking I was going to haul you off somewhere dangerous, weren't you? At the very least, not something reprehensible like a secret den for druggies, or the ceremonial grounds of some underground satanic cult, or a club for Japanese tentacle-worn aficionados. How, again, very specific of you, hero. Kind of. I mean, you don't exactly strike me as a rule-abiding student. Yet you followed! How naughty! You were thinking I was going to take you someplace with just the two of us, weren't you? Where we can, you know... That I wasn't. Ah, you're no fun. Anyway, let's go get some grub already. All luck, the girls might also be here. Girls? Who? Ignoring my question for around the 50th time now, Fran pulls me inside the cafeteria. The warm, inviting smell of food and fruit and the lively chatter of students greet me at the door. Fran stands on their toes and looks around the place, then waves and smiles at someone they seem to have recognized in one of the building's farthest corners. Fantastic! There's our seat. Let's get our food first, deal? I nod, and we join the queue in front of the counter, curious to try to search for whoever it is they were looking at, but the current of moving people obstructs my view. Quite thankfully so, the line moves pretty quickly, and soon enough we're each carrying a tray of food. Fruit slices, a glass of juice, and a plate of steaming paella. Simple meal, but I've got to admit, this looks infinitely more appetizing than expected. My stomach rumbles in assent. Fran takes the lead as we weave our way through the still-growing masses of people. We bump into a few students and probably even a teacher or two in her rush, but I'll be damned if Fran cared at all. Eventually, we end up at a booth at the far nook of the cafeteria. Fran waves coolly at its lone occupant, a delicate-looking young woman with short, well-groomed golden hair, sipping a glass of water, fiddling with her phone. I think she looked a bit tense when she lifted her eyes from her phone to acknowledge Fran, but nonetheless, she quietly and gracefully waves back and gestures for us to take our seats. Hello, love. What's cooking? Caught our newest victim today. Natalia, dear, meet Eric. Eric, meet Natalia, and all that. Victim. Hello, I'm new here. First day at school, in fact. Nice to meet you. I'm Fran's classmate. They invited me to have lunch here. I hope I'm not causing trouble. Good afternoon, Mr. Eric. It's nice to meet you, too. Welcome to the cafeteria. Greeting, though said with a conspicuous Eastern European accent, is otherwise delivered with lyrical finesse, with an air of uncrackable composure so strikingly distinct from the hubbub of our immediate surroundings. Thanks, and no need to be so formal. Eric is fine. How so unlucky. I was hoping your name would be Peter. Would be what now? Sorry, Peter? She nods, brows knitted in rumination. It is a wasted chance, yes. Why? Great, first day here, and I run into not just one, but two tall, pretty blondes with a flair for the cryptic within a few hours of each other. Might as well buy a lottery ticket after this. Because, if you were named Peter, I could say, hello, Peter, welcome to cafeteria. Or not. Her prim, reserved smile breaks and turns into a goofy, childish giggle that shatters my first impression of her so hard I could hear the shards crashing in my mind. What the hell's going on? It's funny, yes? All I could afford her in my state of utter surprise is a blank, confused stare. That is the last thing I expected to hear from her. Nah, that sucked. 2 out of 10. The Snek laughed when I told her yesterday. A little disappointed by the less-than-rave reception after a few seconds, she snaps her fingers, looking like she just remembered a subject she almost forgot to bring up. Right. More importantly, would you like a croissant, Eric? Natalia quickly pushes her plate over to my side of the table, her eyes almost sparkling as they lock onto me in expectation. What? I mean, thanks for the offer, but what for? Well, a gift to, remember our first meeting by, I guess. Are you really sure? Eric. Natalia's eyes flirt furtively back and forth between me and the cafeteria counter. My concern and suspicion must have shown on my face, since her smile cracks a little bit and her voice becomes tinged with urgency. No, please, I insist. I do this with all my new acquaintances. That, and now we are acquaintances too, so there. Also, can you please to eat it right now? Please, like, quick. If this is a hazing or something, it's a very strange one. Maybe I really just got myself into a sketchy cult after all. Right, now, what? Natasha, what are you doing? A voice with a similar distinctive Russian accent comes approaching from behind us. Yo, Sophia. I turn my head and find yet another blonde girl standing beside me, quite a bit shorter with far longer hair, but by no means any less pretty for it. Her arms are folded in front of her, drumming her fingers on her sleeve. She glares at Natalia with an exasperated look, the latter having nothing but a nervous smile for a reply. Hello, sis. You promised me you're to eat better now, right? Yes, but Mom and Dad would to worry if they hear you skip meals again. Surely you do not want that. Of course not. I'm very sorry. Natalia's sister sighs in dismay, her gaze shifting to Fran. The latter puts up their hands in defense. Don't blame me. I was going to stop him, but Eric accepted it after all, so it's totally on him. Hey, no passing the buck! I guess I did almost accept it, but still. Sister's features begin to soften from annoyance to apology as she acknowledges my presence with a nod and sets her food tray across from me, taking her seat beside Natalia. I lay down the croissant sandwich on the table and clear my throat. Hello there, mister. I'm hoping my sister was not too much trouble for you. No, not at all. I'm sorry. Is there a problem? How do you say it? Natasha should not really skip meals right now. It is what the doctor tells us. Ah. As expected of a smooth, suave guy like myself, I immediately draw a blank the size of Jupiter as to where to take the conversation from that bit of information. Thankfully, Sophia takes charge quickly enough, reaching out for a handshake with an airy but perfectly unruffled smile. But I'm being rude, no. My name is Sofia Volkova, Natalia's sister. Is glad to meet you. Your name is Eric Wilhelm. Nice to meet you too. We're twins, Eric. Yeah, well, I sort of figured. Let us eat now, shall we? Natalia gingerly pulls back her croissant and sets to work, daintily slicing it with her knife into small pieces, nibbling on each cut, much like a little hamster. You want some fruit too, Natasha? Thanks, all right. Doesn't seem like it's all right. She takes a few slices of apples and tangerine from Sophia's tray. Are you the new student Fran yesterday said to transfer in his class, I assume? Yeah, that would be me, most likely. Strange. How Fran got a hold of info about my move here before I even arrived, I'll never know. Are they in cahoots with Irene? Seems kinda likely. Personalities are quite similar. I'm not a student here myself, but I visit Natasha often to make sure she is doing well. Will it be hard for Natasha to adjust here, you think? I still don't know about that. I've only just arrived myself. Oh, is that so? That is interesting. You two are in the same boat, then. Swallowing her food, Natalia arranges her features into a smile and rejoins the conversation, nodding enthusiastically to confirm Sophia's statement. It is very difficult to make many new friends here, especially since we're new. I tried to go lunch with some of my classmates a few days ago, but, they are plenty nice and friendly, but when I am with them, how do you say it? I kind of feel like a square hole entering round peg. Other way around. Peg, round, entering hole, square? Sophia's palm meets her face, swift as lightning. But yes, horrible jokes aside, Natalia is right. It's our first time out of Russia, and we're still a ways to go for learning English, and we do not speak German at all. Just fitting in is very insanely difficult, making new friends much, much more. Huh. Now, there's a kindred spirit. But that's exactly what had been bugging me all day, isn't it? Many of the students here have already had years to get to know each other, hundreds of thousands of moments worth of experiences shared, and as a result have formed their little tight-knit groups. Newcomers like us suddenly appearing and forcing ourselves on them to be like dropping a raw ingredient into an already cooked dish. We'll never really belong. From that particular point of view, it's really sad. That is exactly why we newcomers need to support for each other, right? Right, sure. Exactly, Eric understands. So we should be friends, okay? We can be friends, right? We can hang out at lunch here, talk about things, and even share jokes. I've practiced lots of jokes for going here. Want to hear one? Want to hear one? Somehow her deep emerald eyes, piercing my very soul, are telling me that she's going to make me hear the joke anyway. Consequences be damned. Sure, fire away. Her face lights up, reminding me of a kid pressing her nose on a shop window looking at the shiny new toy on display. Okay, here goes, get ready. Why is 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9, right? Oh. Just like that, her exhilaration vanishes like a pop balloon. She pops her cheeks out in annoyance and fixes me with the dourest glare she can muster. It's supposed to be intimidating, I think, but the downright effectiveness of the gesture elicits less of abject dread from me and more of an amused chuckle. But I should be the one giving out punchline, Eric. That is how a joke works. Sorry, it's a really, really old joke, you know. It's probably one of the first jokes I heard in English, even.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's like, this is the peak. This is peak German humor. to say a joke and then not have it be funny, but that in and of itself is a joke.
Yeah, the joke itself is that the joke itself doesn't work. Like that is
Yes.
pretty German humor right there.
Yes. You have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, I have spoken German since I was little. My family speaks German. I actually, we met in German class, and so we have been well ensconced in German culture for a number of years. And honestly, you should get back into it, Professor. I don't care what I never use it. You know what? It's a beautiful culture.
No, it
It's
is.
beautiful
I am
food.
at 100%. German is a beautiful language, and honestly, I should. I spent 6 years studying it in school, so it's like I owe it to myself to like knock the rust off. But honestly, I think it's really misunderstood language and culture. People always have that obnoxious association with the World Wars, but there's so much more to the German culture than just the World Wars. So I mean,
No, it's not even the World Wars. It's the one. That one. It's the
That-
one.
that one,
It's
yes.
annoying. Yes, it's annoying because I mean, you're going to tell me that anyone cares or gives a crap about World War One? No one cares.
no,
I mean, they should.
they should.
Seriously should.
The entire state of the
But,
modern
no.
world was shaped by it, but I mean, details.
Yes. I mean, honestly, I'm of the opinion that they really should be considered one overall conflict.
Kind of was in many
mean-
respects. So yeah.
Yes. So,
Don't mind Natasha, Eric. She likes to think she is witty. It helps her improve English, she says. But it is funny. It's not as bad as her joke last week about giraffes and Rasputin, so maybe we shouldn't be so hard on her. That is true.
okay,
So-
now I need to hear that one.
Yeah, that's what I want to know this joke. Where does the one about giraffes and Rasputin go? That's true, Seneca. It is your fault for not recognizing good joke. You should not be so hard on me, soft instead. Because your name is Soft Fia. On the other hand, we should not encourage to this sort of behavior. Anyway, Eric, what of you? You have a joke of your own? Me? I don't know. Come on, don't be a buzzkill now, darling. Do me proud. Surely you brought along some of that authentic Swiss humor to share with us, eh? Not exactly. The only thing I brought with me in Vienna are crippling anxieties, existential fears, and Mum's totally uncool knitted sweaters. Even so, I racked my brain to recall any joke I could. First thing that comes up is one I heard Gustav telling Beatrice over breakfast a few years ago. Let's see. What did the cheese say when it first saw itself in the mirror? Yes, what? Hello me. Oh, that is bad. That is really bad. As expected, for the first few seconds, the joke has received only lukewarm, polite smiles from Fran and Sophia. Yeah, just because my life right now feels like a really crappy joke didn't really make me any more of a comedian. I'm saved from further humiliation by Natalia spontaneously bursting into laughter. Is there anything that doesn't immediately send this girl blasting off to Cloud 9? At first blush, you'd surely peg her as someone graceful and elegant, but that's what I thought for one. Looking at her now, though, she seems like less like a regal young lady and more like a kid going uptown for the first time. Sophia, on the other hand, just shakes her head. Being sister, she's probably had years of experience with this. It's not that funny, I know. No, it is not. You're not a good teller of jokes, Eric. Hey, look who's speaking! But you did your best, I praise that. She smiles the smile a mother gives her child to encourage him after he had just horribly messed up a test that only serves to make me more disappointed in my admittedly terrible joke-cracking abilities. It is fine to ask, where are you from, Eric? Finally, a line of conversation I can get behind. I'm from Switzerland, Baselstadt to be exact. Pretty nice place, I guess, and where in Russia are you guys from? St. Petersburg, yes. But I think it should be called St. Petersburg, you know, like iceberg. Because very cold. How was your opinion of Vienna so far, Eric? I've yet to see much of the city, but I'm sure my sisters will take me sightseeing around the city soon. What I've seen so far, it looks really nice, very lively. You're thinking of an amazing place also. The food is also very good. I'm looking forward to try cooking some of the new dishes I saw here. Oh, you're into cooking? Well, just a little bit. There's a glint of pride in her eyes as she says that, so I'll be assuming that her interest and most likely her experience and skill in the field is not actually limited to just a bit. You should bring some of
You
your
know, it's
food here
funny
too.
that I was just gonna say it's funny. It's funny that she mentions that it's ice cold because the entire reason why um, Russia has St. Petersburg is because it's a warm water port. It never actually freezes.
Huh. Actually, I did not know that off the cuff, so I learned something today.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. It's very good. So Nekka's food can send people to heaven, Eric, Miss Fran. Are you saying my cooking is lethal? The affected offense in Sophia's tone flusters Natalia, who, realizing the implications of her previous statement, hurriedly and panically stutters out an apology. But yet, that's not what I meant. It is really delicious. Her embarrassment and subsequent clumsy apologizing Sophia and Fran laugh, and even I soon join in. The rest of dinner goes on pleasantly as we regale each other with stories of our hometowns and our impressions of Vienna and the school, with Natalia interjecting with the occasional lame joke. I begin to lose track of the time, with only the ringing bell to remind me that lunch break has wound to a close. Ah, there's the bell. We should be going, yes, Natasha? You might miss remedial class. See you then, Miss Fran, Eric. Fran's a boy, silly. Huh? What are you talking about, Seneca? Miss Fran is Miss Fran. Fran's a boy. A girl. Boy. But that's not right. Tell Seneca what she's wrong, Miss Fran. Fran merely smiles at this little argument, very much entertained. I throw them an inquisitive glance. I've been asking myself that question this whole afternoon, but haven't really shown any evidence to confirm or disprove either case. I don't know. Depends on the weather. You kids be off now and tell Mr. Zhang I said hi. So it is a loy roll. Okay. But like that doesn't seem they'll be telling us anytime soon. The fox-like grin on their face tells me they're savoring every last drop of our utter bewilderment. And see you later, Sophia, Natalia. Das Vidanya, Eric. I'm giving the Russian my best shot. Talk about a language I haven't studied before. According to my analytics, I actually have at least, some Russian viewers. I'm doing my best. Please don't roast me mercilessly in the comments.
Oh, do it. Roast him.
Give me a break. I'm trying. It's very nice meeting you. We give them a wave as we go.
Well, I'll tell you this. My understanding is in French, it doesn't matter, even if you are trying. The French just don't care. They're just going to be like, oh, hold on. You should not how you say, le talk our language, you silly little American.
We all talk like Maurice Chauvier. Fran turns me with a wide smile. That wasn't too bad, was it? You got new friends. The new guy should be out there exploring instead of moping around like a dummy or something, sweetheart. You're going to spend nearly a year here. Wasting all that time in the dumps might kill you. Yep, dead as a fly in the cup of a morning Joe. You don't have to speak to me like I'm a child or something. Stop calling me sweetheart. Roger, honeycakes. Yeah, you're right. I guess they're not bad at all. The answer visibly pleases Fran. Uh-huh, that's the news I want to hear. They pat my back and give me a devious smile. I see you're still a bit jittery, but don't you worry about a thing, Eric Wilhelm. Trust me, I have a feeling we're going to have a grand time together. That may or may not be so, but my only hope right now is that I come out of this still alive afterward. One punny Russian meet up in the cat cafeteria. Very cute. The sun's already about to set by the time Fran got bored of the cafeteria and dragged me back outside. As if the ruthless teasing right after French class wasn't enough, Fran continues pressing at my comfort levels with conversation. It started as a simple back and forth about ourselves, and somehow meandered into an anecdote about losing virginities. Then I decided if it's going to happen at all...
I'm sorry, that went from 0 to 100 really quickly.
I mean, Fran is a loy roll, so I don't know why anyone here would be surprised. I think I'm far enough into this video that Big Brother YouTube has stopped scanning it, so I'm probably clear to talk about this. So
Excuse you, sir. That's a little bit, not something that we need to discuss.
But I decided it's going to happen at all. It needs to be before vacation ends and I have to go back to Vienna. So me and my best friend at the time, we went through our neighborhood hitting up every boy we knew, and you wouldn't believe what happened. I have a feeling you're going to tell me. They all got scared. One boy couldn't even make up his mind, asked for some time to gather up his nerves. I mean, really, with two babes, who in their right mind wouldn't want to? A grin and a flutter of their eyebrows demand an answer. Fran seems to like putting people on the spot, either act disgusted or envious of all their childhood friends they propositioned. Either way, they get a laugh at my expense. Only an imbecile. My correct answer gets me a quick chuckle. At least I didn't go far enough as saying, gee, I wish I knew you back then. I'm not sure I'd be able to handle those consequences. So then what happened? My friend and I decided to take care of things ourselves. Oh. Fran snorts. That was the reaction they were hoping for. What about you? Wait, how long have you been here for again? Oh, no you don't. Don't tell me you're still some kissless virgin at this age. You know, actually, using the phrase kissless virgin out loud is just the sort of thing one of those would say. You're just deflecting. I know the truth. I don't reward them with a reply, knowing anything I can and will be used against me. The conversation changes direction 3 or 4 times as our seemingly aimless stroll progresses, going from mopeds to mobile phones to permanent markers. I may look like I'm following Fran like a lost puppy, but really it's the other way around. They found the shiny new thing from outside, and they're going to get their playtime in while it's still interesting. I do feel fortunate, though. Making friends can't be easy here, and it wouldn't surprise me if students here tend to avoid making lasting connections. While I'm on a roll, I should try getting to know more people. Someone as energetic as Fran probably gets bored easily, and I'm not totally sure I can survive any more of Natalia's puns or Irene's whatever you call that. I don't know, if a girl just busted out dad jokes all the time, I think I'd want to hang out with her more.
Considering your thoughts for certain projects, I was about to say, it seems like something that you would find uproariously funny.
I have no idea what you're talking about. It's a mystery. Hey, so how often do they collect homework again? Depends. I just copy down the answers when we review them in class. Ah, Eric, there you are. I see Miss Clay's walking up to us, a pile of books under her arm. She tries for a congenial smile, but I think passing expression of concern flits across her face when she recognizes my companion. I'll see you later. You too, Fran. Fran tenses up for a moment, takes a breath, and relaxes her posture in preparation for having to talk their way out of a situation. I get the feeling they exercise this skill often. Mr. Wilhelm, I'm pleased to see that you've made friends so quickly. Given her tone, I'm expecting a but. Thank you? Of course, we're always glad to see our students adjusting well, but it's important you understand the unique circumstances many of your peers face. There's something canned about this line, something well-rehearsed in its delivery. I'm sorry? Miss Clay sighs and continues...
What I'm saying is Fran is a bad influence.
Fran is a terrible influence on you. Miss Clay sighs, continues with a bit more sincerity. No, I'm the one at fault here. This conversation is something I normally cover prior to the start of the school year. It's easy to forget that some students don't respond well to social pressure. Some don't respond at all. Although we'd like to see those students learn to function in a typical environment, it's not something you can force on them. She's saying you need to handle people with kid gloves. Miss Clay gives Fran a disapproving glance before turning her eyes back to me. In a sentence, yes. On that subject, Fran, you could afford to educate your peers on this rather than make a spectacle of it. Mr. Kohler had heard of it from your classmates, and he was very disappointed in your behavior. I'm sorry, Miss Clace. I assure you, it was entirely out of my control this time. I'm sorry, but I'm not certain I follow. Am I not supposed to be talking to people? Of course not. All I'm saying is to use a little more caution with how you approach people. A few minor observations can go a very long way, and you can always ask your new friends about how best to handle these things. With their arms crossed, her gaze slides back to Fran. Can I trust you with that? Fran's smile is disconcertingly well-crafted. Of course. Miss Clay's expression tells me she's no more convinced than I am, but apparently it was as far as she was willing to pursue the topic. In any case, you mean well, so I'm sure you'll find a balance soon enough. With all that out of the way, there are still a few items left to address.
I am confused now.
If I had to guess, and mind you, I have about as much context for this as you do. I think what happened is someone saw us very poorly approach the girl who won't talk to us, and probably reported it to the teachers, knowing something that we don't. Likely some kind of severe social anxiety, I assume. I don't know a whole lot about neurodivergences, but I do know that in these contexts it's treated very seriously. So it's probably like a you're not in trouble, but don't do that again or you'll get in trouble kind of set of circumstances if I had to take a wild stab at it. And Fran, laughing and kind of making a scene about it probably is the opposite of what the staff want to see happen given the situation. That's my guess. Have you been issued a student ID yet? No. You'll need to be photographed then. Is it mandatory? No, but it is helpful to have some photographic record should something unfortunate happen. I wonder if that unfortunate something she's talking about is finding me face down in the tent, or what they'd put on wanted posters at the borders. Do I go to the front office for that? School newspaper can take care of you. Room 160. Miss Lace turns her glare towards Fran. Fran, you are still a member of the newspaper club, are you not? Yes, ma'am. How can I be of service? It'd be appreciated if you could see to it that Mr. Wilhelm makes his way there safely. Sorry, I'm illiterate. Fran snaps their heels together and does a pantomime of a salute with the back of their hand smacking their forehead. Thy will be done. We exit briskly, as though our teacher would give chase. Friend or not, I'm glad I have someone showing me how to get where I'm going. Everyone else already knows their way around, and being the new guy, I'll be at a disadvantage for a while. So, you're in the school newspaper? I wear many hats, darling. Wait, isn't that it right there? Oh, we're really going there, I suppose, if you have to. The room the newspaper club uses doesn't look like it's used for regular lessons. Up against the walls are shelves stocked with tubs of crusty art supplies, posters that have faded to blue over time, and a row of computer terminals. In the center of the room is a cluster of tables littered with notebooks and pencils. The disorganization adds flavor to a school that seems too stately for its own good, a breath of fresh air against the Stepford-level neatness of other rooms. Aside from Fran and myself, I see only 3 students here, and they don't look like they want to be disturbed. At one of the computers is whom I assume to be the teacher in charge. She looks to be about my sister's age and smells of strawberries. Not like actual fresh strawberries, the artificial flavoring from strawberry candies. I really don't know what you did here. Are you sure you didn't mess with the settings? Muffled response from somewhere in the room denies responsibility. Save your work and try another computer later. I'll get IT to look at it this weekend. The woman shoves the troublesome keyboard away, having decided to make the computer into someone else's problem. Oh, sorry, I was just in the middle of something. How can I help you? Special delivery! Oh, you wrote something? No, writer's block and all, but I do have something just as good, a new student. Oh, you'll see Eric, am I right? I read your file from Miss Clace's class, right? My legend precedes me, apparently. I'm Hertha... You say that in the German, it'd be Viek? But I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to say it or not.
That'd be Viek.
Yeah, because it's the second vowel that gets stressed. So
yes.
I'm going to go with Viek for now. If someone in the comments wants to correct me or if she corrects me later, I'll just adjust accordingly. This here is a newspaper and publication club. Are you interested in joining? Maybe, but I am told this is where I can get my photo taken? Of course. You do with ID and yearbook photos. Would you like to do both today? Yearbook too? Figured that I missed the chance to be in this year's edition. Yeah, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Great. I'll see if Lena can help you out. Fran suddenly checks their phone to see if they have an excuse to leave, and they pretend to have found one. Well, love, that's my cue to go. Fran hastily scribbles down a number on a scrap of paper nearby and tosses it to me. Text me if you need rescue. Well, okay. Strange to see Fran take off so abruptly after clinging to me most of the afternoon. Either they just hit their boredom threshold, or something got them spooked. I look around to see if any of their students or Lena, but Miss Week isn't heading over to talk to any of them. Instead, she turns to a desk just beyond a line of cabinets and addresses a spindly pair of booted legs sticking out from under the desk. Lena, we have a new student here. Would you take care of him, please? Lena's legs lay motionless for a moment, pretending to have not heard Miss Week. They eventually stir to life when it becomes clear that I'm not going away. Her joints pop and crack as she unfolds into a standing position. Lena's arms swing around to stretch, and her head lazily circles around as if to make sure it's attached correctly. She's almost as tall as I am, and pretty skinny. If it wasn't for her name, I might have mistaken her for a boy. Looks like she works out as well, based on her tan and broad shoulders. I wonder what that face covering is about. Maybe it's dusty under that desk? She shakes her drowsiness out of her system and locks her piercing green eyes at me. Hi, I'm Eric.
Oh.
She snorts. So I've heard. I
That's
just,
the sort of mask you have people that have biting problems
yeah,
wear. Yeah.
I just started today. She's a quick once over assessing my new student status. Sprich du Deutsch. You're getting really familiar really fast there, ain't ya?
Oh my.
Pew.
For those of you who are not aware, um, to address someone that way implies a level of familiarity. One of the things that was always kind of stressed by our original German teachers was basically to never address strangers, especially in Germany, that way, because they're going to get heavily offended that, how dare you, speak so familiar. It's not really a thing in English. Honestly, I don't know how you feel about it, Professor. I think it's kind of classy, actually, to have that level of degrees of how you speak to people.
It's the right level of bureaucratic for the German people, I'll say.
Well, it's not just a thing in German. It's actually a thing in Japanese, too. That's where we get, the entire san,
Yeah. Well, Japanese completely restructures its entire language based on how much they're respecting you or pretending to respect you, depending on context. It's a lot of mental gymnastics. I honestly think English is refreshingly simple in that respect, where it's like, you is you and I am, I or me, depending on context. But it's like,
you is you and people are people.
I get in trouble for calling a guy, and people. Sonic Boom was so good.
Who's Roger? Talking to me.
Lena's brow crinkles and she sighs. I thought it was funny. She brings up a folder stuffed with loose papers at the counter and hands it to me. I want the English ones translated into German and the German ones translated into English, the French ones in the trash. Ha! I take it back, Lena. You're pretty based. What? Actually, Eric is here to get his photos taken. Photos? Wouldn't recommend them. Cameras here will steal your soul. You get them fixed, but the warranties are expired. I'd greatly appreciate if you could help me with that while I sort out the mess with the computers. Okay, but it will cost you dearly. The two of us go over to Miss Week's desk, and Lena drags out one of the stands that hold up projector screens. She draws down a bland-looking backdrop with a mottled blue and white cloudy pattern. I take my place in front of the background, and Lena shoves me around by the shoulders, so we're screwing a rather beat-up-looking camera onto an equally worn-out-looking tripod. Okay, first up your ID card. Say whiskey. Whiskey. Now for the yearbook. Oh, no. You can do better than that. Is there something wrong? Obviously, nobody ever uses that backdrop for their good photos. Do you really want the most important photo of your life having you look like a square? I don't mind. As we wrestles an old yearbook out of a tightly packed bookshelf and cracks the stiff, seldom turned pages opened on the desk in front of me. Here, most people opt for casual photos. Actually, most people opt out entirely. I did. Shush, your picture is included this year. Despite my objections and without my consent, my dad is a lawyer and he'll have your head for this violation of my civil rights. Your father purchased a yearbook along with school portraits, and that's what he's going to get. He wants to see how lovely his offspring has become, and last I checked, he was an architect. Indeed, the majority of yearbook photos appear to have been taken at various outdoor locations around the school, with the students out of uniform. A few do pose in front of the backdrop, but they make up for the blandness with some special outfit, like an athletic uniform or academic medals. I would have been the plainest photo in the book. So now, don't these look better? Flipping along, I find a plain page near the end with scores of faceless names crammed into sections by year. The print is so small, it's clear that the need for saving printing cost outweighed the desire to have a dozen pages dedicated to students who are unable or unwilling to show up for picture day. So how about you two go off somewhere nice for Eric's picture? Who knows, you might even find a friend. Actually, the school pharmacist says I don't need friends on my prescription anymore. Turns out they actually give me a rash. This week dismisses Lena's rebuff of any future association between us and hands her an expensive-looking camera from inside her locked desk. My picture is apparently a special occasion that warrants the use of the good camera and not one of the heaps off the shelf. Do you think I should change? I'd appreciate that. Everyone knows what the uniform looks like, so there's no need to remind everybody with a single portrait. Miss Week turns her attention to Lena. Make sure he puts on something nice, okay? Let's meet you in the courtyard in 20. Sure thing, And she's gone before I can get another word in.
And she's gone.
This is at least gives you an opportunity to size up the situation here, though. Miss Week, please call me Hertha. That's weirdly familiar for a teacher, but okay. So, school newspaper. Would you like to know more?
Maybe she's trying to be the cool teacher.
Maybe. I mean, that could be a possibility. I'm curious what kind of activities I could do once I get settled in here. We'd love to have you around so long as it doesn't interfere with your studies. As far as clubs go, we're actually pretty flexible. I have to go now. I had noticed the other students have been gradually leaving the club room one by one. Okay, Marco, see you around. This week groans as that one last student leaves. If I'm in the way, I could go now. It's nothing. Honestly, just a busy day. Relax. Give me a moment. I'm just going to lock up and go outside for a breather. Having nothing else to do right now, I follow Miss Week outside with the vague idea of asking more about the newspaper club. Almost as soon as she's out the door, Miss Week draws a sleek little electronic cigarette out from her shirt pocket. Hope you don't mind if I smoke? If you're using an electronic cigarette like that, does it really count as smoking? Yes, it does, and it's still just as nasty.
I was about to say, vaping's bad, okay?
It's so terrible for you, and, like, smoking makes you look like an a-hole, and vaping is the same, so don't expect any mercy from me on that one.
I mean, honestly, the one thing that I dislike most about vaping isn't the fact that people do it, it's the fact that people do it indoors.
Yeah.
And often right in front of you, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I need to do this," and they just pull it out and just do it right in front of you, and you're like, "Well, what do I say now?" I mean, so...
Well, you've already committed to the asshole bit. It's not like I can stop you now.
Yes.
Good point. Forget I asked in that case. You're thinking of joining the club. Have you ever been in a school newspaper or publishing committee? No, but I had friends who worked in the yearbook at my old school. They seemed to have a good time. It is pretty fun. We publish once a month now, so you can work almost at your own pace. We used to do a newspaper every other week, but it didn't always work out because of everyone's personal schedules. Do you enjoy writing? I'd be lying if I said it was a hobby of mine, but usually I do well on compositions and essays. If you want to be extra useful, it helps you can write pretty well in both English and German. Well, I'm sure Lena told you that. Otherwise, take on the assignments you can do and submit them when you can. If you like photography, my phone has a camera. Funny, are you good with computers? I'm not here to fix them, if that's what you're asking. This week laughs, having just been reminded of the club's technical difficulties. The publishing software is pretty easy. Someone will show you how to use it. Speaking of which, don't you have a photo shoot to attend to? Right, thanks. When does the newspaper club meet? Next meeting's officially the day after tomorrow, but there's usually someone here after classes every day. I might drop by, see if it's for me. Sure, see you then, maybe. I leave you by and head in the direction of my dorm room to get changed. Not sure if I'll join the newspaper club. Hell, it didn't seem like its members actually wanted to be there. As for Miss Week, one moment it looks like Miss Week can barely manage running the club, the next it seems like a comparatively sloppy, casual operation is exactly how she wants it. I'm not too sure about Lena. I like Fran, but it doesn't seem like they want to stick around, even if they are a proper member. Maybe they have a grudge against Lena. Maybe they used to date. That is a mental note.
Oh, dear.
I'm stewing around my coat after realizing I was running late and taking the stairs at a run, or at least as close to a run as I can manage. Fanning my lapels doesn't disperse a cloud of sweat. I try taking it off altogether, but someone's tugging at my sleeves from behind. You're all wrinkly. I don't have an iron. She's still wearing the mask thing over the bottom half of her face. It would seem to be a permanent fixture, as opposed to something she was just using at the newspaper club. Here's a tip. You can get by without an iron if you put your clothes between your mattress and box spring the night before. Be careful with the collar, though. Thanks for the tip. Shall we get started? Where should I go? I'm not sure yet. I find a stately spot with one of the building columns and stand by it. How about here? You really want to have a picture next to a pile of crumbling brick and tile? Just follow me. The lighting isn't good here.
Come on, Anne.
Feel pretty
trying.
Bad. I feel pretty bad for Lena. She didn't even want to do this, but now she's stuck going up and down campus with me, looking for the perfect location for a few photos. I'm not even that passionate about having a good photo either. I didn't even think I'd be in the yearbook at all. Lena, where are you from? No. Where are you? Good idea, actually. Making small talk keeps your brain occupied and less susceptible to electromagnetic mind control. What? It's better than my idea, at least. What idea would that be? That jokes would work better on an awkward silence than asking me about little things. Right, okay, but what was that about mind control? God, I don't know. I was just talking you shit, trying to find the right angle. Her expression becomes only a little less severe. Look, just give me a moment, yeah? She turns away and continues scoping the grounds. The atmosphere had become frosty and awkward. After a minute, she relents. Do you have a regular therapist? I'm going to see Dr. Faber pretty soon. Oh, yikes. What's that supposed to mean? Only the really messed up kids at Dr. Faber as her therapist, you know. It's sort of last hope before they ship you off somewhere else. I'm not sure if Lena is trying to intentionally freak me out or if she's always this blunt. I was always under the impression that I'd only be seeing Dr. Faber a couple times for being assigned to someone else, or something like that, but for the whole year? Maybe it's because I'm new. I mean, I don't think I'm really worth as constant attention. Wait, stop. What? Right there. Hold still. It takes a moment to register in my mind what she's doing. Lena puts down her bag, holds up what looks like a sheet of cardstock with aluminum foil taped on, shines a beam of sunlight into my face. Okay, done. Can I move now? Yeah. Maybe a little warning next time. People don't look their best when they're too prepared. They're always at least a little phony. I think it looks good. Lena crams away her homemade reflector and shoves a screen on the back of the camera into my face. I can barely see the screen since Lena's reflector burned holes into my retina. There. I look somewhat less pained than I do in my school ID photo. Maybe catching me off guard helped me look natural. Anyway, I doubt we could do any better if we try again. It's good enough for me, thanks. Yeah. We done here? I guess. We're going to the next meeting. I don't know. When is it again? No clue. Right. What's it like being in the club anyway? Miss Week didn't tell me much. Hertha's like that. I guess it's alright. What are the other members like? No stranger than the company you already keep. I assume she means Fran. Got some history with Fran? They ditched me at the club room as soon as they could. They know it's a mess with me, but aside from that, no. Fran used to date one of the members, so they act like they're a full-time member even though nothing they do gets published. Oh, so if I join, what kind of stuff would I be doing? Probably cleaning. Gets messier than you think. Does blood make you squeamish? Only if it's mine. Great, you busy this afternoon? Sudden topic change almost knocks me off my feet. I haven't got anything planned, no. Perfect, let's get going. Wasn't expecting her to abduct me. As it turns out, Lena would rather have me trained up sooner rather than later. The other students in this club must shirk off their work a lot if she's this eager to recruit. Ironically, she palmed me out to Miss Week the moment she saw Fran back at the club room and left.
I'm curious to know why blood is such a concern. Especially considering that you need to...
I suspect she's messing with us. Lena doesn't strike me like she's always shooting from the hip.
Well, I mean, my thing is, like, in situations like this, I used to work for the Poog Perk state government, and you have to be very careful about bodily fluids in order to ensure that you properly take care of them.
It's considered a biohazard
and I can
in
only
most cases.
Yes. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, oftentimes they require that in order to even be allowed to do stuff like that, you have to basically be trained. So, and I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was younger, I was given the training. It's just a matter of, like, just, with Eric, it seems to be like, oh, here you are, you just arrived, congratulations, you're on the team, and now we're going to be taking it just seems a little bit, just sudden, I guess is what I'm saying.
We're throwing you to the wolves.
Exactly. Into the deep end full of wolves.
The pool is empty, but it's full of wolves. Think of it like that.
For affinity? What?
You wish you would get off that easily, so to speak.
No. Ouch. That hurts. That hurts my feelings.
Ooh, emotional damage, the worst type.
Yes.
So, what do you think? Looking through a pile of past newspapers, I'd say it looks doable. An activity here, an informal survey there. School newspaper looks like a good balancing challenge and enjoyability. Most importantly, it looks like a chance to keep active, meet people, go into town, maybe travel when the choir goes on competition or something. Maybe if I go and join the outside world, I'll find a place to belong, even if that place is being nowhere in particular. I think I can do this. That's great.
Oh, now at first I got hit with that, now I get hit with this.
That is kind of sad.
A 1-2.
Just like, bro.
It's a 1-2 punch of emotional damage.
Thought I had low self-esteem, but this guy's taking it to another level entirely. That's great. Just remember that your health and your studies come first. If you find yourself overwhelmed, nobody will be offended if you lay off club participation. Thanks, Miss Week. Again, my name is Hertha. Right. As Hertha begins sliding the old papers back into their folders, Fran sidles up.
Once again, I have to stress this probably is I get the sense that this is not a actual German who wrote this, because this is not the way, as Ugandan Knuckles would say.
Maybe, or Hertha is supposed to be like weirdly overly relaxed kind of thing, and she's supposed to stand out.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I mean, she's the only character who has like exposed cleavage lines. I kind of get the feeling she might be a little too relaxed given the otherwise formal setting.
I get the sense too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you've ever had that, you ever had one of those like younger, especially teachers that they, especially like in the arts, and they are the ones that, they would have the big stereo systems, and they would allow you to do things that other teachers really wouldn't. I'm getting that sense kind of from her too. So, you might be onto something.
Entirely possible. Okay, Hertha, look, I removed the bit about the naked drum circle, but honestly I think it added the pizzazz the story needs. Feels so flat without it. Glad it may be, but I'm telling you, a nudist drum circle, she sighs with exasperation at the words, has never taken place on these grounds. You can't just make things up. Fine, boring, but fine. Here you are.
I beg to differ. Clearly, you're not familiar with with what a journalist does. You mean make things up? Exactly.
Yep, pulling them out of thin air. Fran hands Hertha a couple of sheets of paper. Hertha glances briefly at the top.
They don't come from thin air, dear.
Fran, class, lawyer roll. Hertha glances briefly at the top one.
They come from... You see there, sunshine. Sunshine hits thin air, you see.
This is a place where that is not necessarily the case.
I'm just going to leave that there, and...
What will be, will be. Hertha glances briefly at the top one before immediately handing them back. Fran, I'm not reading this. What? Why? I even removed the bit about the pyromaniac. I'm sure you did, but Fran, it's in Comic Sans. I'm not reading it. You know the spec. Use the font and the style guide. Huh, fine. Fran turns to me as if to say...
I got a question for you.
All right.
Do you find Comic Sans to be... Because honestly, I don't care.
It's not really the most offensive font, honestly. It's whatever.
No. Honestly, I kind of find Wingdings to be more offensive, but no one really knows about that one anymore.
No, it's because it's a non-font. It doesn't actually show up as characters. Not readable ones. That being said, I guess, I don't mind what other people use, though in my writing, I am a Times New Roman kind of guy.
Oh, yes.
I guess that makes me a little bit of a stiff, but, that's just how I was trained, so...
That's just what everybody uses, either Arial or Times New Roman.
So, yeah. Fran turns to me as if to say, can you believe this? Then double takes as they realize who they were looking at. Oh, Eric, hello. What are you doing here? I've been here for half an hour. Hertha was helping me to get to grips with the newspaper. You're joining, then? I'll give it a go. I'll try anything once. I already see the cogs in Fran's brain turning. Not like that. Not you. Everybody's out to spoil my fun today. How'd it go with Lena? She's a card, huh? Card is one way of putting it. I guess I'd better get used to her. I'll be seeing her around here at least. But not outside of this club room. We'll see. What's the thing between you and her anyway? Was I mentioned? Not really, beyond that you know not to mess with her. Oh, is that what you said? Well, Hertha clears her throat. Come on, you two. Let's not have any nasty gossip mongering. We run a nice, clean, gossip-free publication. Ah, so we're not journalists at all in that case. Okay.
I was about to say.
Fran snorts. Rubbish. Have you read it? Hertha merely gives them a disapproving look. Look, I'm sure you got lots of homework to catch up on. In any case, it's about time to pack up here. Will we see you at the newspaper club again, Eric? Maybe if you're lucky. See you around, kiddo. And Fran, get that story in Times New Roman tonight, or it's not going into the next edition. A woman of taste, I see. A little relieved to have all that school photo business taken care of. First day of class wasn't unpleasant, but I feel like it's taken forever, and I'm happy to get it over with. Seeing that this was the first day of class, I've got to ask myself, can I survive like this? Well, I have no idea. It's not like I have a choice. Oh well, home was a spotty mess of trial and error with good ideas built up and bad ones filtered out to get me on my feet. Now that I know how to stand, I can learn how to walk over here, build a routine, pan out a rhythm I can follow to the end of my days. Wake up, go to school, go to club meetings, eat, do homework, go to sleep. Imagine there's going to be some therapy shoehorned in at inopportune moments, but inconvenience is the spice of life. Am I really prepared to be another cog in the machine, though? Just a boring, gray person working a desk job I hate? Yeah, right. These are my formative years. I'll be damned if I let myself get imprinted with a whole lot of boring. Fran probably knows how to have a good time. I'm not so sure of Lena, though. If I get desperate, I could try hanging out with my sisters, but I doubt that would do wonders for my sex life. See, this is what happens when I'm left alone, allowed to think to myself. Haven't really had any alone time, what with the doctor's family and classes. 5 minutes of me alone with myself and I start resenting everything. Oh my god, it's literally me, said Ditaku.
Wow, I am catching all sorts of strays today. Good lord.
I get back to my room, decide to start my homework whenever, which is sometime between 17:30 and the second coming of Jesus. It's unhealthy.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, you see that this is what I have to put up with.
And yeah, if anyone's been around Channel Snek long enough, they'll know I'm totally right.
Uh-oh.
It's unhealthy to let myself run ragged without having some downtime when I need it. A great philosopher once said, there's never enough time to do all the nothing you want. I throw myself into my chair. Yeah, it is. Throw myself into my chair, fire up my laptop, and stare blankly at the startup screen, as though I need booting up as much as the machine does. Who am I again? I knew who I was last year, where I belonged. I'm light years away from home in a strange land filled with strange people. I just want to go back to holding up in my room, goofing off on the computer once in a while. 2 words, 2 separate words that are not one word. I absent-mindedly click around the screen before opening up a web browser. Bookmarks menu is full of landmarks from a past life, and I'm pretty sure most of them are dead links now. I don't think I've used this machine much at all in nearly a year. Spending quality time with myself has been testing the school network's bandwidth limits and content filters. A little escapism never hurt anyone.
That's not escapism.
That's you burning out your dopamine receptors, my guy. If you're going to do that properly, you should be playing Vampire Survivors. At least then you have some kind of strategy involved.
I was about to say, it's like, yes. I cannot see what's going on. The true Vampire Survivors experience.
That means I'm doing it right. Introspectives can get messy. What's happening in the outside world? Cursory search of Private Gymnasium St. Dymphna drew out a sanitized webpage alongside perfectly forgettable social media profiles of alumni organizations and online catalogs. I've seen this website before, but I never really took any of the information here. It's nice and polite, like having the world's best bowl of oatmeal for breakfast. Nothing worth getting excited over. Small news section that seems to be updated every month with success stories, inspirational quotes, and school news. Just under a small goodbye written for a retiring teacher is an announcement that catches my attention. Get ready for this year's Dymphna tag.
That would be probably Dymphna Tag.
Dymphna Tag.
Dymphna Day.
Yes. Click on the link, included link, and find myself on another part of the school website. This page detailing some sort of festival the school holds each year. Surprisingly, honestly, I kind of expected the outside world to want nothing to do with us. But it looks like investors and therapists from other facilities along with family members are encouraged to come to this event. Didn't expect that a student body from a school for the impaired would be able to organize a whole gala. Perhaps my sisters would be able to come. I'm sure the 2 of them would love to see more of the school. Enough goofing off. Maybe there's something school-related I can do online, like sign up for class mailing lists or register for grade tracking accounts. I should be able to do stuff like that without any assistance, since I signed up for a school email account when I enrolled. Yeah, email. Should probably check mine. Switch over to my email and scan down the list. Every day I check the email, and every day I hope it's from a female. If you guys are not alive in the zeitgeist of Flash animation, you really missed out on a cultural phenomenon that cannot be understated.
Yeah, I saw a thing about that actually a couple days ago, where they're like, millennials proceeded to, celebrate the death of Flash. I'm like, excuse
No,
me,
we
sir.
didn't.
I
We,
mourn the death of Flash.
the Millennials
I
did
mean, apart
everything
from
in
the
their
fact,
power to save Flash and archive everything. Like,
the
no one was
only, the
celebrating
only,
the death of Flash except idiots.
the only thing I kind of, bemoan with Flash is the fact is like, I'm sorry, guys. The funny cartoon, program literally allows people to hack your eyeballs because of a backdoor in your eyeballs caused by Flash. But that's more of
And
JavaScript just being like,
yeah,
oh
instead of doing anything about it,
man,
we're just throwing the death lever.
well, I'm sorry. Sorry about all the people with hacked eyeballs.
But it's literally Adobe, and they are basically just cyber terrorists, so...
We're hacking the Snek channel now because you used Adobe one time.
Spam, spam, spam. Welcome to St. Dymphna. Freeze for a moment to see the sender on the next email. Dr. Faber. I swallow and open it. Mr. Wilhelm, I understand that you're joining our community a touch late in the semester. Please let me extend a warm welcome and an open invitation to drop by the counseling offices at any time. Under normal circumstances, we would have had an opportunity to meet for a more formal welcome before classes had begun. This meeting allows me to get to know new students and address any concerns they may have. I apologize for missing this opportunity in your case, but would like to make it up to you as soon as possible. Please stop by my office Wednesday at 15:45 if you are able. I look forward to seeing you, Dr. Faber. Dr. Siegfried Schultz Faber, MB, BCH, Chief Counselor, Private Gymnasium, St. Dymphna, etc., etc. I get the idea. You know you're an important person when your signature goes on for 6 lines. I sit back and wonder whether I'm supposed to...
How many letters do you have after your name there, Professor? I forget how many I gave you.
At least 5 or 6. Probably more than that at this point.
Hey, I gave you your second master's, okay? For those of you who are not aware, the professor in our private Discord has been accumulating postgraduate studies, very funny postgraduate studies. I just think it's funny to keep adding to his nickname.
I apparently have a PhD in monster raising studies and my master's in memory studies, a very important, very scientific field that requires extensive research.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
He had to do a lot of study. Very, very rigorous.
Yes. It's very in-depth. It's very complicated. I can't really explain it to you guys. It's all very hands-on. I'm a bit of a field scholar, you see. If you want more information, you'll have to ask your mother, little Jimmy.
And then they just kind of look away and they're like, oh, yes, I was part of that study. He gave me a $50 gift card to Chili's. Then the next day I was like, that was wonderful. And it's like, are you still here?
You're still here. This is my house. Oh, my mistake. Upside is you don't have any, knots or cysts on your breasts. Congratulations. You probably are fine. Anyway, I'm just going to see myself out. I've signed an NDA. I can't really tell you more than that.
Good Lord.
I sit back and wonder whether I'm supposed to click the reply button. I'm sure he'll expect me unless I outright tell him not to, and I get the distinct impression that turning down this little offer of his will be more trouble than the alternative. Last thing I need is to add antisocial or problems with authority to my extensive dossier. Type out a quick sure thing. Yeah, I was about to say. Type out a quick sure thing back to Faber in response, just in case he needs confirmation from me. From moments thought I appreciate your consideration, and hit send. It's always tough figuring out how formal to be with psychiatrists. Closing the laptop, I review the day's events. Wasn't too bad, I have to say. Sure, the students are weird, but they weren't crazy. Most of them aren't crazy, of the ones I've met so far. No one is strapping me to a table yet. All things considered, I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic. My thoughts interrupted by my phone on my desk. The default ringtone I hadn't bothered to change. I look at the number displayed almost as if an afterthought as I reach for it, and my hand stops. Gustav. Second ring jolts me from my stunned stupor, and I grab my phone, my thumb hovering over the cheerful green accept graphic, which now dominates my vision. I haven't talked to him since the accident. My leg pulses in time with my heartbeat, as though I had needed the reminding of our last meeting. Why is he calling now? What time zone is he in? I bet he heard about my new accommodations. He's probably trying to be encouraging, great guy that he is. Third ring. My window's narrowing, and I'm no closer to a decision than when this started. I'm not ready for this. This is too sudden, damn it. I'm trying to be a better person, sure, but it's day one, and you're going to spring this on me out of nowhere? Fourth ring. Last chance. It's just a stupid phone call, not the Inquisition. I shouldn't be like this. I should just pick up the phone and say, what, hi? I can't act like everything's fine. Look where I am, damn it! The phone finally goes dark. I release a breath I didn't realize I was holding, dropping the phone like a hot coal while my voicemail lies to Gustav about my availability. Please, God, don't leave a message. This is already bad enough without some Schrodinger's cat of familial guilt taking up residence in my inbox. A few minutes pass in heavy silence. There's no new notifications. Starting the year off right, aren't we, Eric? So Gustav's alive, it seems. I had actually questioned that the first time it happened because the weird dream-like way Eric has of explaining things made it sound like it was possible that he was hallucinating it. But, I wasn't really sure if that was the direction the game was going with that story beat. So it seems like Gustav is alive, but there's some kind of guilt complex holding him back instead of this being secretly a Silent Hill installment. Now, I'm deep enough into this video, I can say this. Controversial statement, Silent Hill was never terrifying, it was just really, really Freudian. If you want the same idea done way better, you should play Ebe. I wake up after what feels like far too much time and too little sleep later, swearing into my pillow and wondering groggily just how many times it's been tonight. I thought the nightmares I've been having since this whole mess started were beginning to go away, but tonight's really been something else. Do I dare pick my phone to check the time? It's not like I really need to. I know that it's late enough to be bad, if not early enough. Seeing just what time it is exactly would stress me out. If anything, it'd make it harder to go back to sleep. Make it so I couldn't stop thinking about just how much sleep I've missed. 4:36. The numbers look back at me, calm and defiant from the blinding blue glow of the screen. There. Happy now, Eric? I know exactly in what bad shape you are. This is also stupid. I've been rolling around like this for hours now, and I don't feel like I've had a minute of real sleep. I keep turning around, waking up from nightmare after nightmare, gasping for air through a flood of childish worries and panic. It's probably just the stress. I'm still not used to sleeping in this bed, in this room, with this window, and this closet, and this ceiling. It's been so long since I've had to fall asleep the night before a school day. It's not bad or scary so much as it is strange. At least, it shouldn't be. I think back to the email I read before going to sleep. Dr. Faber wanting to have a meeting with me to get to know me better. He's going to be my counselor for the rest of the year, so I suppose it makes sense. Yeah. I'm going to have a regular expert counselor. I'm going to meet him 3 times a week, and he's going to frown and nod and tell me to think logically about things while I tell him about my fears. That is, of course, assuming he doesn't just give up on me. Maybe this is really more than just what I'd like to think is some run-of-the-mill first week at a new boarding school kind of stress. Still, one way or another, I need to get some rest. I don't want to make a bad impression before I've even really started my life here. Besides, I might miss something important if I go on my first real day of school tired. Too sleepy to think properly, but by this point, I'm far too awake to go back to sleep. Just lie on my bed for a few more minutes, face still buried inside my pillow. Really sweating under the sheets. It's not very comfortable. Not going to sleep tonight. Today, is it today already? Pretty sure it is. Definitely not going back to sleep. I sit up in my bed and stretch my sore arms. What now? School doesn't start for 4 more hours. No point leaving my room just yet. What point is there to staying? I'm already done unpacking my stuff. I don't have any real homework right now, and even if I did, I'd be too tired to really handle it. My head aches, my mouth tastes of sleep, despite having not gotten any. I'm sweaty, I'm smelly, and my hair probably looks like something a cat threw up. First order of things should be taking a shower, pick my glasses up from the nightstand, gather a new set of clothes, and head out. Short while later, I'm already dressed up, clean, and presentable. Too bad school doesn't start for a while. What am I supposed to do now? Sit in my room and wait? I think the commons room's still open, but other than making myself some coffee and sitting down on the couch, I don't know what I'd do there either. Can't turn the television on with everyone else still sleeping. I haven't brought any books to read. This can't be just my problem, right? Someone must have come up with something at some point. My eyes wander quietly over the school grounds past the window. That gives me an idea. Ella never said they locked the dorms down at night, did she? I mean, it makes sense on the one hand, with some students possibly wandering off unsupervised, but on the other hand, didn't I think the same thing about the cafeteria? This isn't a prison. I can go for a stroll outside, get some fresh air, stretch my limbs, get the hang of surroundings, if nothing else. Be just like old times. I should check this out. What do you know? They really do leave the door unlocked. Step outside and take a big breath of the early morning air. Moist and frigid, so I cough it all back out a second later, but I'll be damned if it doesn't feel good. With everything that happened, it must have been months since I've been outside like this. Not just free to walk around the backyard of some hospital so the doctor can see how long I can manage, but actually out in the open, by myself. It's so different out at this hour. You can hear the birds and the breeze so clearly. The faint light gives the dorm the air of a scene from a movie. Still can't believe just how ornate that old building is. I should go on a tour of the city sometime. Viennese cult architecture is amazing. Close to home, but with just enough unfamiliar flourishes to capture the eye. I limp leisurely down the path in the courtyard, rubbing my hands together against the cold, trying to take in as much of the surroundings as possible. Sometimes I think I can make out the silhouette of another student passing by, but it's hard to tell in the darkness. It's a pretty crazy picture, just imagining it from afar. A bunch of boys in pajamas and school uniforms shambling around aimlessly in the middle of the night. Like a scene from a zombie flick. In a different sense, though, it's relaxing. The fact that there are others there means I'm not alone. Sure, I may be weird, but so are they. If you divide it, it's like each one of us is a little less weird on our own. Moving away from the dorms in a wide, winding circle to the campus, I eventually make my way nearly to the school building's doors before turning back. I'm about to begin walking, though, my attention is caught by a familiar sound, making me freeze in place. Sounding clearly in an empty air is a soft, melodious humming. Not the same, but vaguely similar to the one I've heard yesterday. I turn around slowly to find the source. It's faint, but given that I'm hearing it at all, how far could it be? A few steps past the school corner, I find what I'm looking for. Katya, the girl with the eye patch from yesterday, is leaning lazily against a garden terrace wall, staring at the ragged horizon stretching behind the lake and humming to herself. She's way louder about it than she was yesterday, sometimes nearly opening her mouth and spelling out words. Maybe she doesn't think there's anyone around. I move closer. Good morning, Eric. She's not even looking my way. Morning. Sorry, I didn't think you saw me. I didn't think I'd meet you here. What are you doing here? Taking a walk. I do believe this came up in our talk yesterday. How about you? Not working on your stealth skills, I hope. My blind side's the whole other way. I'm about to start muttering an apology when I realize she's smiling widely at me. Have you decided to try out my idea? No, not specifically. I just thought I'd go out or something. Explore around a little bit, breathe some air, cool my head. Maybe it had something to do with what you said yesterday. I don't know. Back in my mind or something? I see. That's good to hear. How do you like it so far? It's nice, actually. Really beautiful place when you don't have to think about making it to dinner on time. Crazy cold, though. Try putting on something next time. The winter uniform's a lot fancier than it's warm. Maybe an undershirt. I guess. Learn something new every day. Mind if I join you there? Feels weird to be standing like this. Not at all. You're my guest. She moves a step to the right, and I carefully move in beside her, resting my legs against the wall and hoping I don't look weird standing. I know it's hypocritical after I spent half of our last meeting staring her in the eye, but that just makes me feel more self-conscious about it. I don't want her to see me stumbling. After a momentary silence, she turns back to me and speaks. Are you still having trouble sleeping? More or less. Pretty sure it's just the stress keeping me up. I gave up on trying at some point and thought I'd try a different approach. She nods, stifling a little chuckle. A wise move. You'll do You'll do yourself much better that way. Sleep is important, but there's no forcing it when it doesn't come. Ain't that the truth? You talking from experience? Mine and others, actually. Almost every student I met here has had trouble sleeping at some point. Insomnia can be a symptom of any number of problems, and the few times it isn't, it could still be a side effect of your medicines. Huh. Never thought of that like that. I knew I saw some others while walking here. Probably not even all of them. As you so keenly mentioned yourself, it's a little bit cold. Most of the ones who are already up are probably staying inside. Can't say I blame them. Her face lights up in a mischievous smile. You can still go back if you want to. It's not like I was expecting there to be anyone I could talk to. Maybe you'll catch a couple more hours of sleep. Go on, I won't be angry. Just leave me here all by myself with the crickets, nothing but the sound of my heartbeat and the sorrowful wail of the wind to remind me I'm still alive. All alone in the dark and the cold, not a soul in the world I could possibly pour my heart out to. Forever to keep all the thoughts and feelings I'm having right now on my mind. Go ahead, go back to sleep, dream of whatever you like, wake up, go to school, let this liminal morning fade into, okay, fine. Suddenly I find myself wanting to stay. Fancy that. By the way, I think you still owe me lunch from our last meeting. What? Lunch, the meal between breakfast and dinner, usually eaten at midday. Oh, we're getting airplane-level jokes now. No, I've been nervous lots of times. I know what lunch is. Then you recognize I gave up on mine yesterday so I could talk with you. It had been rude otherwise. Rude? How would it have been rude? People can talk over food. Katja looks at me like I suggested we take our clothes off. Not like that. You need proper seating and plates and some drinks to go with it all. You can't just have any kind of talk that you want at any time that's completely inappropriate. But I was eating the whole time yesterday. I know, how awful is that? Good thing I'm willing to let bygones be bygones. How does Kaiserschmarrn sound? I probably shouldn't have any, but this is a treat, isn't it? With raisins and plums and some applesauce on the side. Should be alright on the weekend. That's good? Wonderful. All's well that ends well. Don't worry too much about it. We can settle your debts at a later date. She uses the same formal tone to say it that she did while introducing herself, but her expression is far more relaxed now. I think it's safe to assume that she's joking, and you know what? For a quiet moment out here, standing back and talking about nothing with somebody friendly, I don't even mind. I'll buy them lunch. So what do you usually do when you're out here when you're up? Depends on how long I've been up. Mostly I'm happy just walking and thinking. It's a pretty underrated activity. If I wake up early enough like today, I like to go here and wait for the sun to rise. It's gorgeous, if the weather is right. As to make a point, she lifts her sleeve slightly and takes a quick glance at her watch. Checking how much time we've got? Wouldn't want to miss it. Huh, I know that feeling. Really? Yeah, I'm actually really into... I used to. Standing outside in the pitch blackness, shivering in clothes, looking towards the horizon like we're expecting something other than the very definition of regular. Reminds me of all those early mornings in the Grindelwald or Freiburg. Back when Gustav and I went out camping, I'd make a challenge out of trying to wake up before him. Never made it work. No matter what I tried, if I ever went to sleep, he'd be sitting nearby as soon as I opened my eyes, already fiddling with the burner and brewing coffee. Pretty sure he was doing it on purpose. Point is, I like that kind of thing, you know? Obviously, no. Not specifically the waiting for the sun thing, more of a general outdoors thing. Hiking, trekking, mountain climbing, geography too. Veritable adventurer. I guess you could say that. An impish glint flares in Katja's eye. Is that so? Yeah, not on professional level or anything, but as a hobby. I see. Okay then. How about you tell me something I don't know about geography? Like a challenge? You'd like to call it that? Why? Would it be a challenge? Oh, you did not just... Okay, it is on. Okay, how about this? Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa. Give me some credit, sir. I know that much. Sure. Just getting started. Like I said, it's the highest mountain in Africa. That makes it one of the 7 summits, which is a list of the highest mountains on each continent. It's a bit less than 6 kilometers above sea level, which makes it the 4th on that one, right behind Mount McKinley in North America. It's located in the northeast end of Tanzania, near Moshi. It's a dormant 3-cone stratovolcano, and the cones are called Kiba, Mawinzi, and Shura. The actual summit, that's the highest point on the entire mountain, is called Uhuru Peak, and it's found around what is technically the crater of the Kibu cone. The word Kilimanjaro comes from the regional word for white, since it snows on it during the rainy season. It's like one of those places where you don't really have a winter and a summer, just dry and wet. So far, so good? The look on Katja's face is absolutely priceless. It's only once I gave it some thought that it dawns on me I've been grinning like an idiot half the time. Might not be the prettiest or cheeriest smile I've had, but it's so genuine, it feels real. I didn't have to force it. It feels so good to do that again. Don't remember when the last time I did. It's proud, it's exciting, it makes my stomach turn, but in a good way? I don't want to stop now. I want to keep doing this for as long as Katja would let me. How was it so far? Is there more? I mean, I could keep going for hours. So hear me out. The two most famous routes to the summit are called Marangu and Makame. Give that my best shot. And most climbers, they're Coca-Cola and whiskey. The idea is that whiskey is for more experienced type and Coca-Cola is for beginners. In practice, though, it may not be that much easier since it has a way shorter acclimatization period. The start is milder, but then you end up with breathing difficulties. Now, whiskey, on the other hand, takes about a week to climb up, and the only reason I know that is because until just a couple months ago, I'd planned on one day making it. I had a stupid, childish dream of making it, me and Gustav, all the way up to the summit. Didn't know when I'd get around to it, just that I would. It felt certain. And it was certain that Gustav would be there with me. It feels so infantile thinking about it right now, like a child dreaming about what they're going to be when they grow up and thinking they'll be an astronaut or the president. Hell, the way I'm now, this is just as silly as if I'd wished to grow up to be a dinosaur. It's meaningless. It's all completely, absolutely meaningless. I let my back sink a bit down the wall. I shift my weight a little bit to the side, trying to calm down and then catch myself by holding the wall back with one hand. My legs feel like it's made of insects. For a moment, it was like I'd almost completely forgotten about it. And now it's gone. Katja stands wordlessly, wanting for me to continue speaking. It takes me a while to realize that her eyes fixed on my leg. How long has it been this way? I begin moving it on instinct, but then it occurs to me that if she really did somehow notice my limp in the minute or so we were both standing, trying to hide it now would only make it worse. She opens her mouth to speak, and I brace myself. Goodness, do I know somebody you'll get along with just fine? Huh? I look up to see if she's kidding. Her smile's as honest as ever. No hint of pity, no disgust, not even confusion. I try to respond, and my throat suddenly feels like I swallowed an entire sea sponge. What, they're into mountain trivia or something? Something like that. I don't know how to respond to this. The tight feeling in my stomach is beginning to fade away. My muscles are still all wound up, and I feel like I'm about to fall, but other than that, it's fine. Could it be that she hasn't noticed after all? Carefully, not to let go of the chance, I start slightly pushing myself up the terrace wall. If I do this correctly, it wouldn't even look like I... Please don't. It's nothing that you should be ashamed of. I know. I just didn't think you'd... She lets out a dry laugh and waves her left arm, eventually pointing to her eye patch as well. Don't you think I know a thing or two about that? You happen to be talking to a bit of an expert here. At least you could probably fake walking right if you put enough effort into it. My choice mostly comes down to whether to rip off the eye patch, and it's not like that'd make me stand out less. And let me tell you, it's amazing how fast the novelty wears off of having guys looking at your face for a change. It's just that I thought I was doing fine. I could hear you coming from behind the corner. You have a gate. I guess I do. That doesn't mean you weren't doing fine. My point is that I don't mind it, and neither does anyone I can think of that you might like talking to. She takes another look at her watch. When she looks back up, it's with a face as cheerful as if the subject never changed. That was pretty impressive. I didn't know most of it. It's good for you to have something that you're so passionate about. I may not know as much about you as about Africa, but I think I might get why you'd like strolling around like that. I used to like going on walks too. Vienna isn't quite a mountaineering challenge, but it does have some beautiful parks. Of course, lately I've been forced to make do with the lawns around here. I'll give it to the faculty, the garden is magnificent considering the circumstances. Have you been to the city of Vienna yet? The city proper, that is. Not the school that's technically in it. Just a little bit. It's been a little while before moving in. Why? I think you might enjoy it. Think of it like the school here, but with more people, better shopping, and less fences. I'll keep it in mind. For now, though, I should probably start looking into other things to do. Let's face it, I'm not doing any hiking anytime soon. I'm looking to join the newspaper club. You know a girl named Lena Forst? You could say that. I did hear something about a new applicant. Oh, okay. Wait, what? This gave me flashbacks from yesterday's dinner. Why would you hear about that? Who talks about this kind of thing? This is a high school, Eric. She raises her eyebrows as if daring me to challenge that answer, but she's right. Fair enough. How about you? In terms of hobbies, I mean. Hobbies, extracurricular activities. Avocations. Right. I already told you mine, so it's only fair you tell me a little about yours, isn't it? What do you like to do in your spare time? There's a demure smile on her lips, but between the puffed-out chest and the proud glint in her eye, she is not fooling anyone. I sing. Oh, like in a band or something? Band? Is that the kind of impression I've been making this whole time? I sing in the school choir. I suppose that does make a lot of sense. Explain the humming, and she definitely has a voice for that. That does sound a lot more like you. Is there anywhere I could hear you perform? She blinks an eye in thought. Well, we do have the holiday coming up. The choir will be participating both in the opening event and the gala, so I suppose I'll be spending most of the next 2 weeks somewhere around the chapel. It's where the choir practices. Sounds like a solid plan if I ever were to run out of stuff to do. I've been wanting to check out the chapel anyway. We should give you a visit sometime. I mean, if that's all right. I wait for an answer, but none comes. Given we were just talking, it takes me an embarrassingly long time to realize that Katja's fallen completely silent. Following her gaze towards the lake, I can make out the first glimmers of the sunrise behind the mountains on the horizon. Hey. She raises one hand for silence. Hold on now. We've waited here all this time. Let's not miss the moment. Bookmarking my thought, I turn my attention to the growing dawn. Above us, the deep purple of the night sky is gradually giving way to paler shade of blue. I glance aside to Katja to say something, but she looks like she isn't with me any longer. For all of how involved she has been so far, now she just stands there enraptured. Then again, after all this gushing about mountains and sunrises I've done, it's not like I've got any right to talk. At first, it doesn't look like there's much to see at all. The harder I squint, though, the more I look at it, the brighter the picture becomes. First, the patch of light rising behind the mountains, surrounding a cold, near colorless sun. Then, with every passing second, more and more rays break through and against the thin clouds. When they hit the water just right, you can actually see the reflection of the shining on the far side of the lake. Hilda used to say that it looks like the water's on fire, back when the entire family went walking together. Beatrice said it looked like paint spilling. Looking higher up in the sky encourages my recollection. Once you stretched your neck far enough, you can't see the mountains. It's the same old purple and blue, whether you're in Switzerland or in Austria. I briefly wonder whether Katja's having as contemplative a moment as me. Soon enough, though, the light just gets too bright to look at. My eyes are burning by the time I realize that, and for a good half a minute I take off my glasses to rub them. All I can see is dancing blotches of green and purple. When my vision clears, Katja's already stopped staring, having since moved to checking her watch with a busied expression. So, was it worth not going back to sleep? She lifts her face back to look at me. Whoop, you're getting a prompt. Absolutely, I didn't even realize how much I missed watching the sunrise, or it was. This whole conversation was just what I needed to cheer me up. What do you think, Utaku? Which of these feels like the more appropriate response?
Wow, my timing is impeccable. I have to step away, get some food, because I was starving.
Of course.
And now I come back right. No, I apologize. I was listening, but honestly, I'm like, there really wasn't much for me to.
I was about to say we were in a pretty deep moment there. I understand, but which of these do you think is the better way to respond to Katja?
See, that's the problem. These are both pretty good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't really think there's like a bad answer here.
I feel like probably the bottom one, just, rather than having it be, like, oh, the sun is beautiful. It's like, oh, you really help me out.
Yeah, no, I get it. And actually, I'm in agreement, so. Wouldn't have believed that I'd say that an hour ago, but yes, it really was worth it. I honestly can't remember the last time I did something like that. Brings like so many memories from before. Got me thinking about all sorts of stuff. What's a few hours of sleep compared to that? That's a spirit. Wouldn't be a mountaineer without it. You don't get anywhere nice if you're not willing to risk hypothermia. Katja nods in bemused approval. I think I made a good impression on her. Kind of makes me want to... Hey, I hope it doesn't sound too weird, but I mean, thanks. Like, for having this whole conversation with me. Just standing there and listening and being all nice and stuff while I'm talking your ear off about mountains. Sometimes just having company can make all the difference. It doesn't even matter what you do with it. Not that the sunrise wasn't great, obviously. You're welcome. It's nice to know that I've helped. Do you do this every day? No. I think I mentioned that I didn't. You should probably find a backup plan for passing the time. Just on the off chance you're bored one of these days and I can't be there to assist. It's not the first time I spent the wee hours of the morning learning about mountains, however. Oh? She just hums cryptically. Anyway, you've already made other friends, I'm sure. I'll leave convincing them to go out with you in the morning to talk about mountains to your enterprising acumen. Yeah, that might take some figuring out. I'll come up with something eventually. Then you'll be alright. It's like you said, the company's what really does it. Some mornings coming out here can be lonely. Sometimes there's nobody friendly. It's not always bad, but it's different. It sure isn't always as enjoyable as this one. Bad that I wasn't to bother. I step forward from the wall and stretch my arms to the tired sigh that evolves halfway through to a yawn. I'm gonna feel like a dump by dinner, but screw that. This was a pretty great time. Should definitely keep this in mind for the next time something like this happens. Gotcha or no gotcha, I feel more alive now than I felt in a while. You want to head over for breakfast in a couple minutes? Thank you, but I'm going to have to decline. I still need to do a few things for classes start, and I'd really prefer not to be late. Okay, good luck with whatever it is. It was really good talking to you. Pleasure was mine. See you around. I'm about to come up with something to say, but by the time I've opened my mouth, she's already given another one of her bows and made off. She moves fast for a choir girl. As for myself, I'm going to give the cafeteria another check, or at least the vending machine. This might turn out to be an okay day despite the nightmares. For long, it's breakfast time, and I find myself in the cafeteria without remembering walking to it. Looking around, it's still almost deserted, barring a few early risers shambling around with their food trays or shifting drowsily in their seats. That didn't make it any less lively than it was yesterday. Some are happily chatting over coffee, some are hunched over piles of textbooks and notes, while a group in similarly designed tracksuits talk about what I figure to be strategies for some sport. Looks like I'm the only one who's alone right now. When I make my way to the counter, being as early as it is, there's still no cue to speak of, and the woman on the other side greets me with a perfectly rehearsed spiel and a nice small smile. Good morning. What will you be having today, my dear? I scan the counter for choices. I'm not particularly picky with food, so I guess it doesn't really matter much as long as it's filling enough. I get some pancakes, cup of café au lait to go with it. It takes no more than a couple of minutes before the server returns with my tray of food. Carefully lift it, only to nearly send its contents flying off when a cold, rasping voice breathes down my neck. Dobro utro, Eric. Whoa! Several around the face the source of the voice. What hellish beast could possibly produce that unearthly... Natalia? Hello, you look to be a bit surprised. Natalia gives me a groggy smile, rubbing her eyes on her sleeve. Her hair is sticking out every which way like an unruly patch of crabgrass, eyes barely even half open. She's carrying a few books and a notebook under her arm. Her shoulders are drooping and her gait seems kind of unsteady. The thought that she's actually sleepwalking occurs to me. Her blazer isn't even buttoned completely. Good morning. Not to sound rude, but shouldn't you fix the button on your uniform, Natalia? She said a feeble, oh, we're trying to button the jacket up with a single hand with only the faintest blush on her face. Sorry, I didn't notice. Still too sleepy. There, I'll tidy now. I want to interject how little it improves since she otherwise looks like she's about as tidy as Kansas Farm freshly ravaged by an EF5 tornado, but I have a feeling she wouldn't really care. If I had any previous preconceptions for this girl being anything like a proper lady, those have been blasted to Kingdom Come. As she gets her breakfast of pancakes and orange juice, we walk over to the same corner of the cafeteria we hung out in yesterday and take our seats. Sorry, Snek always fixes my clothes for me. Anyway, Eric, how are you? Pretty fine, all things considered. Don't quite think that I've already found my footing here yet, but baby steps, I guess. I mean, I checked out the newspaper club yesterday, too. It's pretty fun, I think. If I have the time or energy, I'll probably check it in for the next meeting. Nina seems intense, but I guess I can work with that. Her features brighten as she apparently recognizes the name. She lets out a short laugh. The girl with the mask. Yes, we are classmates. She is very strange.
No, that's significantly less funny to me.
It's like, yeah, like her like laughing so hard she snorts. Like, that would actually be kind of cute. She is very strange. She even interviewed me when I first came here. She asked me questions and things. Lots of questions. But she didn't let me ask anything in return. I was ready to ask her all about that mask on her face. What do you think is under that mask, Eric? The rest of her face, I guess. I wonder about this. Do you think we should investigate, like Russian spy and action movies? Since I'm Russian, I'm probably a good spy, so I think it's worth trying. That is a train of logic. It's not a good one, but it's a train of logic. Maybe Sophia has already won. What do you think? Do you think we'll need to ask her for help? Speaking of her, she's not here with you today, huh? Yeah, she promised to visit sometime this week, though. She lives in an apartment just a few kilometers away from here. Is it not cool? Please do not change the topic. Perhaps we can launch some secret attack in the Miss Lena's room, as if you're any clue about her magical mask. We need to conduct a raid. A masquerade. For a few seconds after that, we just exchange unblinking stares. Come on, Natalia. At least try. Also, before I forget, Eric, sorry about yesterday. The croissant, that is. I had flu during weekend and I still didn't have much appetite. Sure, I didn't really mind. I know. That's what I said to Soneka, but she still told me to apologize. Well, water under the bridge, then. I'm not sure there was any harm done in the first place, but I appreciate the thought. This seems to console Natalia. She runs her fingers over her hair, a token attempt at grooming herself. She lets out a big yawn and stretches, which has the effect of disengaging the top button of her uniform yet again. This time she fixes it up more quickly, followed by an nearly inaudible groan. Might need to buy a new one, don't you think so? She sighs. Lately I feel life is nothing but suffering, Eric. Relief washes over me as I realize she's dropped the subject of her own accord. That doesn't mean I understand what the hell she's on about now. What brought this about? She was twiddling her thumbs with a nervous smile. I have some homework due today. I see, that's why you're up early. Natalia nods, her eyes not meeting mine. I want to review my notes some more for classes start. Well, it's very diligent of you. Maybe I assumed too much from her little interaction we had yesterday, but I didn't think her the type to do that. It's actually pretty admirable of her. The remark, however, earns me a weird look from her. She gives me a nervous smile and scratches the back of her head with an off-sounding giggle. An awkward silence falls between us. Her eyes begin flitting to and fro, sweeping the entire room, but not meeting mine. She idly drums her fingers on the pile of books beside her. Yep, we got a prompt. Okay, I kind of feel like this merits investigation. This feels like the body language of someone who wants to be asked what's wrong. Like, have someone check in on them.
She seems pretty affable, too. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't think she'd be
entire,
mad. It's kind of that...
oh, you shouldn't ask people questions.
Like, it gives you that vibe of, like, she's kind of desperately asking for someone to check in on her. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. Pretty sure something's on her mind. Is something wrong? Huh? No, nothing. You sure? Yeah, well... Eric, about the homework. Actually, last night, I got distracted by this new romance fan fiction I was reading on the internet. Before I knew it, I've fallen asleep and, well, I forgot about doing it. Gladly, I woke up rather early today, but then I, well, kind of sort of, how you say it, just forgot the lesson we had yesterday. I remember calling her diligent earlier. I take the compliment back. What? How? I mean, don't you at least have notes? She just answers with an awkward giggle and a slow, embarrassed shake of her head. Give me my compliment back! Don't bully her. Come on. You've never had a brain fart before, Protag? Come on. So.
No, I have never done that.
Shut up, Eric. You're wrong. Say, would you help me do my homework? It's just a couple questions on geography. You're good at this, Da? Wait, what? How did you figure that? You're wearing glasses. That means you are a smart person. I know this much. That's how this works. That is definitely how this works, Natalia. You are correct.
Snek wears glasses. He is a smart person, Da.
Da. Not necessarily, but I think she's not far off the mark this time. Geography is one of those few subjects I consistently had good grades in. I also have atlases and piles of mountaineering magazines back home. Mostly gifts from my family and the occasional friend from school. Even so, shouldn't you be correctly sensing the forthcoming objection? She grabs my hands and once again looks at me straight in the eye, wide and beseeching like a little lost puppy, silently imploring you to bring it back to its mother. Please?
Oh.
Obviously, my resistance barely lasts me a couple seconds, because, you know, when a cute girl grabs your hands and pleads, like, there is nothing that the male mind can do to say no. It would require some kind of bad blood so terrible as to last familial generations for him to turn her down in that kind of moment of need. Like, we're not built to reject in that situation.
by the same token, though, I feel like certain people are gonna say
Exploit
who.
that knowledge.
Yeah, almost like they learn at a young age that this is a thing that they can do.
I mean, let's be honest. People aren't that smart. We typically just go with whatever feels right in the moment. People suck at
Snek.
planning ahead. And honestly, if a cute Russian girl did that to me, my only response would be, yes, let me help you.
Snek, why you gotta call me out like that?
I wasn't calling anyone out in particular. I'm just saying.
Snek. That was a joke.
I'm just, Super God Saiyan, Super God, Super Saiyan.
It depends on what you mean by Super God Super Saiyan. Are we talking about supers?
Is that Super Saiyan God, or is it Super Saiyan Blue, or Green, or whatever color we're on at this point?
Super Saiyan Triangle?
Whatever Gohan's on at this point, like, God only knows.
I believe it's Beast, whatever that implies. I don't know. I don't even think that Toriyama really knew.
Shrug. Obviously, my resistance barely lasts a couple seconds. Sure, I'd be happy to. I guess this is a good enough gesture of gratitude for her company yesterday and this morning. I look at my wristwatch. So more than an hour before school. With all luck, I can still make it even if I stay here for a while more. Oh, really? Thank you so... Promise me 2 things, though. What are those? I agree to help you catch up with yesterday's lesson, but you'll have to answer your homework on your own. What? Okay then, second is, promise me you'll study properly starting tomorrow, okay? She pouts in disappointment. You are starting to sound like Sophia, Eric. Are you planning to replace her somehow as my twin sister? You will need a sister license for that first. Sister license? Is that how it works? I don't think I got a say in the matter with my sister. Sister license?
No. See, it's not. We're brothers, Professor.
That's true.
Brothers don't need licenses.
Oh, is that how
Sisters
it
need
works?
licenses.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, clearly.
Obviously. Just thought helping you study a bit is the least I can do to thank you for yesterday, you know? Nataya's eyes widen, and her cheeks blossom into a faint but unmistakable blush. She fiddles with her hair a bit as her features revert to her usual carefree smile. I see, thank you very much. You are a very, very nice person, Eric. Can't help but smile at the remark. Sure, no problem. So, shall we get started? Da!
Yeah. This is the problem, Professor.
Do tell.
No, I was just gonna say, if a cute blonde started blushing and, fiddling with her hair, I'd be like, I should be mad, but I can't be.
I should be angry with this.
But I can't be.
Yeah. The answer should be the letter C, right? A continental shelf. Brilliant. You're doing very well. How about this problem? Taya's brow furrows as she tries to crack the next question. I don't think my last statement was an exaggeration, at least not by much. She's actually not all that difficult to tutor, to be honest. She listened well to everything I told her and did everything I asked her to, so she wasn't much of a problem, so long as I kept her concentrated. Eric, do you think Santa Claus votes at the North Pole? There are some hurdles in communication, of course. No. Santa is an all-powerful king. he doesn't have to concern himself with voting.
Santa is not a king, he is a saint.
He could be a saint king. I mean, everything happens at the North Pole in accordance to his will, so it checks out to me. By the time we're done,
I'm just saying.
Do tell.
I'm just saying, if you actually, learn about St. Nicholas of Myra, well, first off, you realize how utterly effed early church history was. Secondly, you are like, dang, this guy literally went up in the middle of the Council of Nicaea and proceeded to just start punching dudes. So, it just kind of goes to show you when they're like, you hear people complaining like, oh, Christians have to be pacifists. Like, really?
Not especially. Oh, but I will tell you an interesting bit of geography trivia that a lot of people don't know. The namesake the namesake of the Arctic and the Antarctic. The Arctic is named for bears, and the Antarctic is named for no bears. And that's where they get their name from. Now, before any of you at home are like, oh, is that because of the polar bears? No. It's because you can see the constellation Ursa Minor in the North Hemisphere, but not in the South.
Mm-hmm. That's the, you said Ursa Minor?
I believe it was based on Ursa Minor, but I don't think you can see either of them from the South, so...
No, you can't. I'll tell you what's funny, though, too.
Do tell.
Okay, so, I mean, this is kind of a continental thing. You are familiar with the, how do I say this? You are familiar with the spicy windmill, shall we say?
Oh, of course.
Well, we're not going to go into ideology, just the symbol itself.
Right.
That symbol is actually not unique. It's actually something that people all across the world. Now, the interesting thing is, do you know where it actually derives from?
I do not, actually.
It actually derives from Ursa Major, or Ursa Major, because if you look at it, you look at the actual, track of stars, it kind of looks like a big hook. In fact, honestly, I want to say in certain cultures they actually call it the ladle.
Right.
I believe in French they call it the chariot. But I mean, it's the same thing. In China, they actually call it the seven-star sword, which if you look at it, it does kind of look like a saber. But as it goes through its course throughout the year, it will actually turn around. So that's where it comes from.
All right, that makes sense.
And now you know. Cultural history with Ditaku.
All right, we're learning all sorts of neat stuff today.
Yep.
By the time we're done, there's only 15 minutes to go before homeroom. Guess that about wraps it up, huh? The title set our notebook, now full of notes and side notes we accumulated over our hour-long discussion of land masses, mountains, seas, and happily nods. I guess it does. You're such a candy, Eric. A lifesaver is what I mean. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pleasure's mine.
Well, that was an analogy.
Yeah, or her attempt at a pun. I stand up and stretch. She follows suit, gathering her books. With that, we walk out of the cafeteria. Well, I walked. She was pretty much bouncing with every step, humming a little tune to herself. So, see you later then. I need to prepare for school too. I still had quite a few points I would have liked to discuss with you there, but man, time flies fast. Okay, I agree. I still have a few things to get from my room too. I must hurry. If time flies fast for you, then it's more for me. Time flies lots faster. Why's that? Taya tries to bury a chuckle in her hand and turns to me with a coy grin. Because I am always rushing!
Oh, you just walked right into that one.
Yeah, Eric blundered straight into that.
And she probably
I walked right into that, didn't I?
And it probably was a situation of, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And
she was probably
she had this,
waiting
the biggest grin on
right
her face. She was ready for that one. It's like, you know what? You earned that one, Eric. Good job. Finally free of the horrible jokes. At least there's physical education later this morning. Maybe I can get my mind off of them by moving around and sweating a bit. Entering the gym, about half of these students I can see are from my class, but I noticed some new faces mixed in. All of us are wearing the same white and blue gym uniforms provided to us by the school, of course. I recall when Mum got the gym uniform from the school, she called it drab and boring, then immediately tossed it into the washing machine before I had the chance to look at it. Feels a bit snug, but at least the fabric's breathable. The gym here is a lot smaller than the one at my previous school, with soft, rubberized floors and some small bleachers. It's more suited to a playroom than a gym proper. Outdoor sports like track and football are done as part of class occasionally, but apparently I've been placed on a low-impact course. You have a bum knee, dude. Of course you are. I don't know what else to tell you about that.
All right there, Mr. Eric. You're going to be doing high-intensity super wrestling. We're going to throw you into the ground at Mach 3.
You see that pool full of wolves? They're going to be your wrestling coach. All of them.
Ah, it's okay. I'll aim Birdie Taco.
I prefer to be in the more active phys ed courses, but my leg could cause problems according to the physical I had before transferring here. Walking is fine, though. So I had to warm up my leg by milling around the small space where clusters of students are having quiet conversations. Most of the conversations revolve around...
What else would you do? Would you, like, have you learned how to float?
No, maybe. Maybe he's learning how to fly. Most of the conversations revolve around the latest school gossip I'm not aware of and generic school toppings, homework people are up to when they're not doing their homework, when the next test is. It seems fairly standard, though I can't help but feel a sense of alienation. Don't really know anyone here aside from a few familiar faces from class. Maybe I can meet people who aren't as pun-obsessed as Natalia or as silent as that one girl who sits next to me. Ella seemed pretty normal. Suddenly a loud clap bursts from the side doors where a young woman, probably in her late 20s, strides over to us. Oh, it's Hertha. I wasn't expecting her to show up here. It's kind of interesting to see teachers in multiple roles in the school. Hello, students. I'm Miss Week, and I'll be substituting for this class. Everyone pauses for a moment, unsure of what to think. A hand shoots up from the crowd of students gathering around this new face. Yes? Where's Dr. Byrne? He's supposed to teach us, right? Dr. Byrne's very busy this school year. He's been invited to several international conferences across Europe and in the United States. I'm sure he misses teaching all of you, though. Several students nod. I guess this Dr. Byrne was pretty popular with the students here. I know I'm not him, but let's do our best to get along and have some fun, okay? Some students give a smile, but most of the others sigh and shrug their shoulders. Everyone lines up into rows to get started on some calisthenics. However, despite Miss Week's cheerful demeanor, many of the students don't seem all that interested, many putting in minimal effort to appear active. It wouldn't hurt to get some exercise in. I've been cooped up in a hospital in my own room for months now. I wasn't moving a lot while I was recuperating, so being able to freely move around here is a nice change of pace. Reminds me of all the times I warmed up to go outdoors with Gustav. Am I the only one who actually putting effort into this? Looking to my right yields two lanky males from my class who are sort of doing some half-hearted jumping jacks. Whoa. The person to my left has apparently tripped. Right into me! Now, you are a visual novel protagonist. It's not a visual novel if at least one girl doesn't crash into you at Mach 3.
And it turns out that she's the fat chick. Oh no, this is the worst.
This is awful, Snek said. Definitely meaning every word he was saying. Not talking out his tail at all. Given that the dev of A Whole Lot to Love, sent me the link to this game. Make of that what you will. Hey, if you're watching, Grayus, thank you.
Yeah, and you know what? They probably are just, looking on with big grin, just, give a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Both of us take a sharp fall into the ground, and I brace for impact. So today, I was asked to stare into the sun, endured some terrible puns, and now I have someone crash into me. What is this, a cartoon?
As you do.
Cartoon is not the worst possible genre to be put into. I could think of much worse.
You're right. You could be in a Miyazaki film. Hey!
Ooh. You'd be incredibly well animated, but everything would be incredibly stagnant. Industry would plateau in the 1300s.
Don't you understand? People are the worst. Don't you understand?
We should live in trees.
Like whimsy.
Should live in trees,
like whimsy, Snek.
And eat bark, and never have computers.
Like whimsy. Child like whimsy.
Cartoons are a very pro-industry medium. Miyazaki sensei.
I'd say there's a lot of trees that had to die for your cartoons there, friendo.
Especially given his love of hand-drawn animation. It's hard to breathe. I try to lift myself up, but I can't. Something really heavy on top of me.
Oh no.
Oh no. Titaku.
Oh.
She's cute. She's mega cute.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Okay, this is who I thought it was. I'm like,
she's mega cute.
Okay, so what you need to do is you need to give her a wry grin, kind of lean back and be like, so, you drop here often?
So, what you doing? For me.
Are you an angel?
No, of course not. That would be
You're not
terrible.
the only one who's fallen for it. That's
All
not
right.
how that goes at all. I'm trying.
I'm trying and I'm dumb. You gotta give me something to work with here. Baby, you must not be the only one falling for me here. Hey. That was terrible. F minus minus. Uh-oh.
I'm leaving.
Oh.
I'm leaving. Also, never talk to me. Also, you stink. Also, you smell. Also...
Why do all my encounters with women go this way?
Plus ratio. Plus, I didn't ask.
Don't ask, didn't care. Ratio. Blocked, reported.
Sent to bad internet jail again.
Not again. I had to spend a year in bad taste jail and... Before me is a girl splayed on top of my chest. That explains why I can't move or breathe.
Breathe.
I think there's two very big reasons why you can't breathe right now, Eric. Need to. Acting. Going. Shatner. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find. Okay, I'll stop.
Another man. I am at home. Oh, no, no, no. I'm a rocket man.
The girl who fell on me feebly squeaks out in surprise and scrambles off of me. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Face is tinged red with embarrassment. I try and say something, but Hertha quickly approaches the two of us before I can reply. Oh, everyone okay? Hertha, she's rhythmically snapping her fingers for some reason. She sniffles a little bit, clearly trying not to cry.
Clearly, she is a beat poet.
I don't. She doesn't have the beret to be a beat poet. She is missing some of her accessories, if that's the case. Blood starts trickling down her nose. A nosebleed. Almost instantly, she clamps her hand over her nose to try to plug it. That was a serious blow. My guess is she landed nose first into me when she fell over. I heard that sharply inhale as she realizes what's happened. Oh God, Jeanne.
No.
Jeanne? Is it? That'd be Jeanne, right?
Hold on, let me see this.
I'm trying. I'm not.
That
stupid.
would be... Okay, that is Jeanne, yes. That is
Okay.
the French spelling of Jeanne, the female. You have to understand that in French they have Jeanne, which is for male, which is actually said Jean.
Jeanne.
This is the female. I believe it's... I have a relative that has that name. It's Jeanne.
Okay.
At least that's the way they say it. So,
If we are wrong, go to the comments and correct us and prove to me that you've been watching this 2-hour-long episode. But
So I guess what I'm saying is your waifu is... I hate to... I'm so sorry, Professor. I hate to tell you this. Your wife is French.
I can fix her.
Now you're gonna have to take back all... You're gonna have to take back all those things you've said about the
I have to
French.
eat half this episode then. I can fix her. I can make her worse.
French?
We're gonna start a.
Is this going to be the title of the episode now? I can fix her.
I can fix her / I can make her worse.
Well, you know what we should hope. You should hope and pray that maybe she's not French, she's Belgian, because they speak French too.
That's possible. I guess we'll learn. Just saying, it's not too late to start busting out the Marie Chauvier impression. Just saying. And then, we could have a Jerry Lewis movie marathon. We can make this work. I can work with this.
Oh, Lord. So we are going to be entirely offensive to everybody.
Yes, that is the objective. See, it's like G Gundam. If you're offensive to literally every single person on the planet, it's actually not offensive.
That makes sense, said Yusaku, not really thinking about it.
The girl starts moving and attempting to get up, Miss Week gently supporting her. Oh God, she's super cute. She is mega cute. She stumbles in an attempt to get up, wincing as she rises to her feet. Ow. She must have rolled one of her ankles pretty badly in the fall. Could it be a sprain? This is bad.
Good lord. I proceed to have a spiral fracture. I will never walk again.
Baby, I will carry you.
And you literally just fell over. Yeah, it was...
It was traumatic. At least I landed on something soft and yellow and stupid.
Oh, I was going to say that, man.
Oh, she means me.
Hey, I've been falling into a, into a pool full of wolves.
So you get thrown into the emptied swimming pool full of wolves, and in return, I have the BBW of the game fall on me and mock me to my face.
And she gets grievously injured somehow. I don't, understand how, but it happened.
Yeah. Well, if she slammed her nose straight into our sternum, that would be a pretty solid object to hit full force.
Oh no, it absolutely would, and that's not good. That's that can unalive you. That can send you straight to Brazil.
Yeah, that can actually that can be really traumatic. So
this is going to be Ditaku's, health thing for you. Ladies and gentlemen, don't slam your nose into things. If you hit it the right way / wrong way, it will send your nose bones right into your brain. And if you are...
Yeah, that sinus cavity running through your head, it's really, really, really close to your gray matter. Really close to your gray matter. Getting hit in the nose is no joke.
Ancillary thing to this, you probably shouldn't pick your nose either.
No, you really shouldn't. That'll damage the blood vessels in your nose, and head wounds bleed very grievously.
And they also, if they get infected, they go straight to your brain.
Also bad. Furthermore, if you get a nosebleed and it lasts longer than 20 minutes, it's not a nosebleed. You have something more serious. Please go to the ER.
Snack. Ditaku.
Yeah. Cue us at midnight,
dumb.
and Ditaku is like, I'm still bleeding, bro. It's been an hour. And I'm like, yeah, that's bad.
That's bad, okay.
That's bad, okay. Sorry to put this on
Mr.
you.
Mackey, didn't realize you were here with us.
You shouldn't just bleed out, okay? That's bad, okay?
Mid-Snek can't make content, okay?
Sorry to put this on you, but you're from the newspaper club yesterday. I'm Eric. This week's face lights up in recognition. Oh, I thought you looked familiar. Sorry this happened, but could you help Jeanne here? I can't leave these students here unsupervised. She needs to see the nurse for school injuries. Do you know where the nurse's office is? I shake my head. His bride points out to me briefly in Ella's tour, but I can't seem to recall where it was. That was a whole episode ago. I don't remember anything now. Those doors over there, just take a left.
I'm sorry, my brain fell out because of bad Russian puns.
The Russian puns melted my ability to retain memory. For those doors over there, take a left.
My hypothalamus has been destroyed by the Russians.
Oh, so I can no longer regulate my body temperature. Okay.
Yeah, and your long-term memory, yes.
Oof. That hurts.
Isn't neuroplasticity fun?
The brain is an amazing organ. It's also shocking how stupid it can be sometimes.
No, I'm just saying this, that, people who are like, oh, we can definitely, jack your brain into, the internet.
Please don't.
I mean, they're like, great, but do we really know how the brain works? Also, do you really want pop-up ads right in your brain?
Let's assume for a minute that works with absolutely no downsides whatsoever. Would you really want to be uploaded to the internet knowing what the internet is? I don't. Please,
I'll be right next to all the cat videos.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, Jimmy. I hope you never lose it. But me personally, at that point, just send me to Brazil.
My funny thing, I was going to say something, but my first thing I was going to say was on. And I'm like, that is the strangest thing to say about Brazil, of all things.
Not usually associated with the French, no.
No.
Take a left and head all the way down till you see a fork in the hall. Take the left one. Nurse's office is the second door on the right. The sign says nurse's office. Got it? Got it. I'll take her. Hopefully my own leg doesn't give out while guiding her down there. Her nose is starting to bleed even more now. At this point, she has to hold it shut to keep it from getting stains on her uniform. The girl wobbles a bit and manages to balance herself on my shoulder and her good leg. Easy now, try to keep off that foot. So we make our way to the doors outside. Baby. Feels weird saying nothing while walking down the hallway. I don't know her and she looks pretty shaken up, but maybe I should talk to her and try to get her mind off of things. It's kind of awkward walking down here without saying anything. How do you make small talk with a girl on your arm that also has a nosebleed? Looking closer, I'm not seeing things. She's missing part of one of the fingers on her left hand. I didn't even notice that. Crap, she knows me peeking at her. Look away, look away. You gonna be okay? You took quite a fall there. I suppose I did.
Alternatively, the first thing I was thinking she was going to say is something like, "Are you Dr. House?"
Are you like a turbo autist? Or you like already diagnosing me with lupus or something?
Oh no, she's figured out my entire personality.
No, it's never lupus. The girl trails off for a moment. She'll be fine. As if on instinct, her body stiffens a little, and the finger on her right hand snaps. It's quick, but it's quite loud. She turns a gaze in my direction. Is it a nervous tick? I remember hearing about those on some documentary I watched. She was doing it after she collided with me, so maybe this is something related to that. What was that? That's just me. I do that at random. Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome? Is that the sort of people swear uncontrollably? This is a really misunderstood diagnosis, and like sometimes it's verbal, but sometimes it isn't. Like I've actually taken a few psych courses. I know like a tiny little bit about stuff.
I was gonna say it can be a number of different behaviors. Just people remember the swearing one just because
it commands a lot of attention,
funny.
Especially because it's oftentimes used for slapstick humor. What's actually interesting is South Park played with that idea, where for an episode, Cartman pretended to have it as a way of basically just like cursing at people, and then eventually it became an uncontrollable tick for him, and people from this one society dedicated to the Tourette syndrome actually applauded the episode for Cartman kind of getting hoisted on his own petard and having to actually experience it for real, which is a really clever take that we don't actually see in many things that deal with it. So like that's just, I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting.
No, I agree.
I guess that shows how little I know of other people's disorders. Thank you, Eric. That's a quite self-aware assessment. I'm sure she's probably never heard of a somatic disorder. Okay, just curious.
I guess I don't know everything. Good job. Socrates says that's the first step to learning things. Apart from, going with a creepy old guy and being like, "Hey kids, do you want to learn about knowledge?" I do.
Yeah, all right. All I can do is accept it and move
now
on.
Let's learn about, what God is. In probably the most long-winded and, I love Plato's Republic, but it takes a while to actually get to the part that anyone cares about.
I'd say it's a bit of a dry read, but I mean it's fascinating, but
no, it is. It talks about a lot of different things. Very fascinating.
maybe she does it when she's not bleeding from the nose. No idea. In any case, glad to see I was there to cushion you from your fall. That could have been worse. Jeanne solemnly nods. Sabi about that. No, don't be. I'm not injured. At the very least, you avoid getting hurt more. I sound like my sisters now. They'd always get a little overprotective if I got hurt. Gustav did the same thing. Are you okay? I try to reassure with a grin. Don't worry, I've had worse. Doctors say I'm pretty sturdy. Pat my chest to show I'm still intact. That's good to hear. I can see a small smile forming underneath her hands. She is adorable. I will protect this little cinnamon roll with everything that I am. I know I'm like a 12-inch long little nope rope, but I will do my best for you.
Hold on, Professor. You said you were like 9 inches last year.
That depends on how excited I am. Hey-oh!
I can't take you anywhere.
I can see a small smile forming underneath her hands. I should introduce myself. My name's Eric.
For those who care, I am 2 feet tall. Professor is, 8 foot tall. So
Height is difficult for us Sneks to measure, so we actually measure nose to tail. And also, Pugums have elastic and kaleidoscopic limbs. Do not let him fool you. He will approach you as a 9-foot-tall monstrosity with spaghetti noodles for legs. And he will chase you because he thinks it's funny, and the fact that you scream will encourage him. Just pretend he's not there.
Give me your Velcro.
All you can really do is try to distract him with cheeseburgers, and hope that he gets bored.
Ooh, cheeseburger.
The girl releases her hold on her nose. Looks like the bleeding has stopped for now. My name's Jeanne.
See,
Thanks for your help, and once again, I'm really sorry for knocking you over. Her body stiffens and she snaps her fingers once more. She doesn't seem bothered by it, so my guess is that I can safely ignore it as well. You might as well. It's not hurting anything. It's just her thing. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Yeah.
You're a transfer student, correct? I don't think I've ever seen you here before.
I recall there, this one guy had a Malkavian character.
Right.
Who, his entire thing was he had Tourette's, but he would always have to, or it might not have been Tourette's, he basically had a instinctive compulsion to always turn on lights.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine up until he had to go through a Sabat warehouse.
And turned all the lights on.
And so he turned on the lights on. And let's just say it's like, yeah, I lost that character, but the storyteller had to give me, it's like, hey, that's a good cop. You
stayed in character even when it came to bite you. And that is the sign of a good player.
Yes.
I believe the line a ranger said was, "What's the role for confirmation bias?"
When did he say that?
That was when he was Doran for the first time, and Alban and he were talking about something, and I forgot what it was that I said, and he didn't believe me for some reason, so he asked you what the role for confirmation bias was, and that became kind of our meme for that session.
Yes.
Guilty as charged. I just started here this week. Oh, I was right. Welcome to St. Dimphda's, then. Thanks. What do you think of the school so far? Oh, baby, it just went from a 9 to a 10.
Can't take you anywhere.
It's alright. Can't say I've love or hate it just yet, I understand. I was the same way when I first started going here a few years ago. Don't worry, his face grows on you after a while. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's super cute. That does something for me, and it's hard to even explain. It's just like a weird... I get it, she has no conscious control over it, but, it's endearing, I guess might be the word.
Is she... Okay, I just tabbed back over. Is she actually, is this sprite snapping?
Yes. It's lightning fast, but every now and then in between her dialogue, she'll have a moment where she interrupts the dialogue and snaps. You have to kind of watch closely. You'll probably see it better on playback, because I know Discord streaming is not very good, but... How long did that take for you? Oh, it didn't take that long, maybe a few months. So there are some students who have been here quite a while. Jean's reassurance that the school would grow on me is nice to hear. Still, I'm going to remain skeptical as a matter of principle. The week isn't even over, and I've run into, in Jean's case quite literally, some rather interesting characters. Finally, we arrive at the nurse's office. Looking around, the office actually extends a little bit past the lobby we're currently in. Several doors leading to what I assume to be beds or private offices. The nurse on staff greets us and notices Jeanne on my shoulder. She rolled her ankle a bit in gym class, and she had a slight nosebleed. Goodness, are you okay, young lady? My nose has stopped bleeding, but my ankle still hurts. Alright, let's head back to my office, and I'll take a look. You need me to help take her back, miss? That'd be very helpful, thank you. You'll have to wait in the lobby afterwards, though. Patient privacy, Of course. The nurse guides us to her office in the back. What's that?
That darn hypocritic oath.
Yeah. The nurse guides us to her office in the back. A small room stocked with bandages and some basic first aid tools. It's well equipped, almost overly so for what appears to be an area for small injuries. I help Jeanne onto the patient table. The nurse props up her leg in order to keep it elevated. Do you mind waiting here for a bit? I need to fetch something from the supply cupboard. The nurse steps out, leaving the two of us in the room. All good up there? I'm fine, just hope it's not a sprain. Mind if I take a look? Sure? I take a closer look at her ankle. No swelling yet. If it were a sprain, her ankle would definitely be puffed up and red right about now. I don't know if it's sprained. Does it still hurt? Jeanne nods. It's probably just the pain from rolling your ankle so suddenly. You sure know a lot about ankles, Eric. Are you studying to be a doctor or a physical therapist? Nah, nothing like that. My family and I do a lot of hiking, and when I was younger, I twisted my ankle on a rough patch of the trail we were on. Coincidentally, it was the same leg that's been giving me trouble as of late. Did it hurt? Yeah, it was pretty bad. I was on crutches for a few weeks, so it couldn't heal properly. I learned a lot about how important my ankles were, that's for sure. You should definitely be alright. That's good to hear. Just send the nursery into the room. I'm back. Everything good here? The two of us nod, which seems to satisfy her. Guess that's my cue to leave. See you in a bit, Jeanne. Okay, see you soon. She won't be long. Please take a seat outside. The lobby seems to be pretty new in comparison to the rest of the building. The secretary clacking away at a computer nearby. Some social media sites up. Guess there isn't much to do here aside from students and staff visiting. A slight rumble in my stomach reminds me that taking most of my time at breakfast helping Natalia meant I didn't have much time to actually eat anything. Thankfully, there's a water cooler right next to me. Take a paper cup and wash out the sour taste in my mouth. Right next to the cooler is a small dish with some wrapped chocolates in it. It's not exactly breakfast, but it's something to eat. I'll take a few to nibble on while I wait. Soon after, Jeanne returns, minus the blood on her face. The worried, embarrassed look she had is also gone, replaced with a gentle, friendly smile. The nurse turns to me. She's got a cold compress on her ankle, but she should take it easy for a little while longer. Okay. Jeanne still has a slight limp in her step, but she looks much better after getting cleaned up. Her eyes, which were sullen and a bit red a few minutes ago, look to be a lot brighter now that she's cheered up a bit. Feeling better? Yeah, thanks for helping me to get to the nurse. Like I said, no big deal. You're right, it was just sore from the rolling. She said that. Jeanne nods. According to her, it would have been swollen much sooner. Ha, I was right. That's a relief, then. Trust me, you do not want a sprained ankle during school. Right, I'll have to be careful. Want some chocolate? I got a few extras from the front desk. What a small piece of chocolate that I swiped from the secretary bowl. Jeanne's eyes light up. Thanks. Once in motion, she unwraps the sweet and pops it in her mouth. What do you think of our substitute teacher? Oh, well, she's my floor's dorm mom, so I already know her through there. She's really nice to all of us at the dorm, so it's nice to see her helping out at school, too. Sounds like it'll be fine in gym, then. You bet. I lead Jeanne back over to Hertha, who jogs up to greet us. Ah, you guys are back. How's everything? Nurse says I just rolled my ankle badly, but it's not a sprain, thank goodness. That's good to hear. Just set out for the rest of the class, okay? Okay, sure. I go to walk her to the bleachers. You, young man, don't have a sprained ankle last I checked. Well, shoot. Get some laps in, all right? Jeanne will be fine. Ah, she saw through my plan. Curses. Foiled again. Don't be so formal. You're making me sound old. I nod as I head back to the track as the two girls take a seat and start talking. After finishing up, Hertha meets me before I head to the locker room. Hey, thanks for your help today, Eric. It's good of you to help out other students here. No problem, just doing the right thing. Jeanne certainly appreciates it. Really? She's not one to mince words. She told me she's really grateful to you for carrying her to the nurse's office. I call her face when she thanked me back in the hallway. It was warm, cheerful, and charming. I could tell Jeanne was the type of girl to be a little more grateful than usual over things like this. But we two continue to get along. It'd be nice to have two great students leading everybody in class. I think it'll be good. Jeanne seems nice. Great. Well, see you around, Eric. Jeez, I can't help but feel a surge of pride after helping out Jeanne. This will definitely keep me going the rest of the day. Oops, crash into Jeanne, or did she crash into you?
Hey-o.
Something like that. This is where we're going to stop for now. We've been at it a while. No, this is really good. I am very, very much enthralled by the world that is unfolding here. So thank you, Ditaku, for coming along and, as always, providing excellent color commentary with me.
I apologize I had to step away a couple times, but, it seemed like you had it well in hand.
Not a problem.
Or,
lack thereof. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you all for watching. The link, as always, is going to be in the description. This has been the Hipster Snek and Ditaku, and we're going to see you guys next time.